Earth football, Cristiano Ronaldo thought I would go assist him. Hey, fanfic family. So glad to see you here again to continue this incredible adventure. As always, kindly remember, this story is 100% fiction. So don't go looking for dimensional portals in your closet. All rights to this fantastic novel belong to the original author. We're just your humble narrators of epic tales. Are you enjoying the fanfic? Show it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and dropping us a like. And if you're impatient for more exclusive content, our Patreon is your happy place. Chapter 501 Formation Change, Square Midfield. Drogba, Ronaldo, Ibrahimovic, Evra, Vidic, Barzagli, Macon, Kaká, Ronaldinho, Reina, and others were all fired up. These young men went crazy. Even Guardiola, Matos, Schmeichel, and Deschamps, who are used to motivational speeches, were shocked by Maxi's speech. Max's motivational level is too high. Guardiola, this is an epic pre-match pep talk. Deschamps, Mr. Maxa is one of the top 5 in the world when it comes to creating atmosphere. As the players left the locker room, Deng Kai lagged behind and said to Maxa beside him, "Your delivery of lines is good." Maxa scratched his head, somewhat embarrassed, and said, "There are still many details I didn't get right. It's far inferior to Viggo Mortensen's performance." Deng Kai nodded, adding facial muscle twitches to some lines can make the emotions more realistic. If your voice cracks during the final battle line, the effect will be even better. The essence of acting is those subtle moments of loss of control. Maxa immediately took out his notebook and wrote down Max's pointers, which he would read repeatedly later. The above excerpt is from a speech given by Aragorn, the King of Men, before the final battle, which Maxa saw 2 years ago when he drove Deng Kai to visit the set of The Lord of the Rings in Hathaway's film. This is from the 3rd film. The 2nd Lord of the Rings hasn't been released yet, so naturally, no one knows about this. The 2nd installment will be released at the end of this year. It will once again pit against Harry Potter. In the second half, Sporting Lisbon's morale indeed improved significantly. The game went from Manchester United having a slight advantage to a true 50-50 match. In the 50th minute, Varane passed the ball across to Keane, who then played a through ball to Scholes. Scholes suddenly unleashed a powerful shot from the right flank. This midfield maestro's long-range shooting was truly exceptional. Crosses from the wings and long-range shots from midfield are the most threatening and their most proficient methods in Manchester United's attacking system. Scholes' shot went high over the goal. Whistle. The referee stopped the game. Scholes fell to the ground. While shooting, he was tackled by Pepe. Although Pepe managed to stop his movement, he still knocked Scholes down. This caused Scholes' long-range shot to go high. The referee showed Pepe a yellow card. As a result, Pepe will be suspended for the next match due to accumulated yellow cards. This is a problem for Sporting Lisbon. However, on the other side, Sir Alex Ferguson's expression was not very good. As the match intensified, Manchester United's tactics reverted to the same old three-pronged approach used during their treble-winning season. His continental tactical reforms weren't reflected in this game. In other words, Ferguson's transformation of Manchester United throughout the season hadn't been very effective. The team's most crucial victories were often achieved through their old, traditional style of play. In critical moments, players would spontaneously change tactics, reverting to their old ways. Tactically speaking, this was a mistake. It was like drinking poison to quench thirst. In the 59th minute, Varane was again one-on-one with Duncan. Duncan flicked the ball to his right and immediately pulled it back, then used the inside of his foot to push the ball to his left, performing a one-footed nutmeg. Varane wasn't completely fooled. He had time to extend his leg to tackle. But Duncan followed up with his left foot, executing a Marseille's turn. Varane was completely outmaneuvered. Bang! Duncan played a through ball to Kaká. Kaká unleashed a powerful shot from the left side of the penalty area. Silvestre dived to block it. Another stun shot. His performance today deserves the title of Red Devils. Keane cleared the ball from the sky with a long kick inside the penalty area. Bang! Mistake. The ball spun rapidly, but actually flew slowly towards Deng Kai's feet not far away. Bang! Deng Kai passed a ball to the unmarked Ronaldinho on the right, and then decisively made a forward run. Silvestre, enduring the pain, got up and marked Deng Kai. Bang! Ronaldinho delivered a cross. Mark him. Blanc marked Drogba, and Silvestre marked Deng Kai. But Phil Neville's facial expression was extremely distorted, as if he had seen something terrifying. This. Silvestre found his head was a little black. Logically speaking, Deng Kai should have flown that high. Silvestre turned to look at Deng Kai first. He found that Deng Kai not only didn't fly, but crouched down. This is. Bang! Ronaldo almost lifted off the ground. He swung his head violently, slamming the ball towards the Manchester United goal. Barthez didn't react immediately, but his positioning was excellent. He reached out and touched the ball. However, he couldn't change the ball's trajectory. The ball still nestled into the goal. Goal. Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo again. Incredible. Ronaldo has shaken off O'Shea and taken off. That height is incredible. Silvestre's head was at Ronaldo's waist. Duncan's head was at Silvestre's waist. This. 2-1. Ronaldo has helped his team take the lead again. At the same time, he has become another player to score 2 goals on his first appearance at Old Trafford. 12 goals. Ronaldo has once again widened the gap between himself and Van Nistelrooy to 2 goals. He continues to dominate the Champions League top scorer list. On the field, Silvestre was complaining to the referee. He thought Ronaldo jumped too high, that the height was abnormal. But the referee saw it clearly. The reason Ronaldo was able to fly so high was because he used his hand to brace Duncan. This is also why Duncan's head was only at Silvestre's waist at the end. Teammates supporting each other, is that illegal? Silvestre looked frustrated. You can do that? Then I'll build a human pyramid, the top player heads the ball, you guys won't even touch it. In the 66th minute, Van Nistelrooy, with his signature Zangfei embroidery move, seemed to once again respond to the public's assessment of him and Ronaldo. His shooting skills are superb, and Ronaldo's are good too. Ronaldo is a master of dribbling, and so is Van Nistelrooy. Bang! Van Nistelrooy dribbled past 2 players and took a shot, but unfortunately, his stamina was unevenly distributed, and he was slightly exhausted by the end. The ball wasn't fully charged. Reina easily caught it. Soon, Manchester United made a formation adjustment. Super sub Solskjaer replaced Scholes in the shadow striker position. The difference between them is that Solskjaer is a true striker, while Scholes' playing style always unconsciously shifts into midfield. But Sporting Lisbon went even further, making 3 substitutions in a row. Even Ferguson, known for his crazy substitutions, was humbled. Ibrahimovic replaced Drogba. Veloso replaced Metros. Font replaced Guardiola. These were primarily due to fatigue. Meanwhile, Sporting Lisbon adjusted their formation, switching to a 4-man defense. Pepe, Font, Vidic, and Barzagli formed the backline. Veloso and Duncan served as the 2 holding midfielders. Kaká and Ronaldinho formed the 2 attacking midfielders, creating a square midfield. They were playing a 4-2-2-2. Chapter 502 Font sacrifices himself for righteousness. In the 73rd minute, Barzagli intercepted Giggs' pass and passed to Veloso, who then crossed to Deng Kai. Deng Kai dribbled forward. Varane attempted to intercept, but Deng Kai easily bypassed him with a Marseille's turn and continued his advance. Varane's positioning was poor, causing some trouble for his teammates' recovery. Keane needed to move laterally to block Deng Kai. He quickly established his defensive position, only to face Deng Kai's meticulously designed dribbling pattern. Step over. Deng Kai performs a series of step overs. Left wing breakthrough, fake. Right wing breakthrough, still fake. Pass. Deng Kai fooled Keane's foot, then nutmegged him for a pass to Ronaldinho on the right. Ronaldinho receives the ball, makes a slight adjustment, and unleashes a long-range shot. Unfortunately, this ball almost completely pierced Manchester United. Oh, the referee blows the whistle. Keane gets a yellow card. Deng Kai, after outmaneuvering Keane, prepares to move forward. Keane pulls Deng Kai down, an indisputable yellow card. Ronaldinho has been watching Deng Kai's position. It seems he was planning to set him up. So after seeing Deng Kai fall, he forced a shot. Ronaldinho's ability to adjust on the spot is still very strong. 77th minute. Giggs challenges Barzagli again. In fact, after Manchester United rediscovered their traditional style, Giggs began a relentless attack, focusing on breaking down Barzagli. Barzagli successfully defended quite a few times. But, the difficulty for a defender is that you can succeed 100 times, but you can't fail even once. Whistle. The referee blows the whistle. Barzagli fouled Giggs and received a yellow card. Manchester United won a free kick on the left flank. This position was dangerous because Manchester United had a free kick called David's banana kick. However, after the camera focused on Beckham, it immediately found Pepe on the field. The director's camera language was superb, telling the fans that Barzagli, like Pepe, would be suspended for the next match due to accumulated yellow cards. One defense, missing two key centre-backs. What will the result be? Need I say more? Look at Font, then look at Pepe and Barzagli. It can only be said that the second leg is really difficult for Sporting Lisbon. Their only chance is this leg. Bang! With Beckham's banana kick going straight into the top corner of the goal, Sporting Lisbon's chances in this leg were almost completely wiped out 2-2. Manchester United pulled one back at home. Moreover, Manchester United had an advantage over Sporting Lisbon, which was that they still had enough substitutions. Sure enough, Ferguson did not give up the opportunity to press forward, and he substituted Diego Forlan for Van Nistelrooy. If Van Nistelrooy was carrying Manchester United at centre-forward this season, then Forlan's poor performance since joining the club is largely due to Van Nistelrooy's dominance. This left Forlan with limited opportunities. Without Van Nistelrooy, Forlan's ability and performance might have secured his place as Manchester United's starting centre-forward. His true strength is evident. In the 79th minute, Duncan passed the ball to the retreating Ronaldo, who dribbled past his opponent and unleashed a long-range shot. The ball went wide. Clearly, Ronaldo was anxious. Ronaldo's mentality has always been a point of criticism for fans. He's too impatient, always dissatisfied with the team's and his own performance. This will cause the team to lose its original wisdom. He's not mature enough, he needs more experience. Hopefully, this Champions League semi-final will help him mature. Having gone through this ordeal, he might go further in the Champions League in the future. Of course. As players making their Champions League debut, Ronaldo and Duncan's performances this season have been impeccable. They have demonstrated exceptional leadership abilities, and their future is bright. In the 82nd minute, Ibrahimovic, dropping back, also attempted a long-range shot, reminding the Red Devils of his proud striker status. Unfortunately, this shot also went wide. Ibrahimovic has consistently lacked presence in high-stakes matches. In the 83rd minute, Beckham's cross created a corner. Pepe blocked Beckham's cross with his leg and even excitedly yelled at him to boost his morale. This tactic is effective against many insecure stars. But in recent years, Beckham has consistently felt underrated in his Ballon d'Or and FIFA World Player of the Year ratings. He is currently at his most confident. Bang! With a deadly corner kick from Beckham, the players surged in the penalty area. Ibrahimovic watched helplessly as the ball headed for Forlan's head. It sounds absurd, but it's true. The corner kick was incredibly accurate. Whistle. The referee blew his whistle. Forlan was lying on the ground clutching the back of his head. The referee approached Ibrahimovic and pulled out a yellow card. Ibrahimovic was explaining, but the referee waved his hand, indicating he wasn't going to listen to his excuses. Then, the referee pointed to the penalty spot. Old Trafford erupted in cheers. Penalty. The referee has awarded Manchester United a penalty. What happened? Oh. It's Ibrahimovic. He pushed Forlan from behind, and the referee witnessed the whole thing. The Swede made a huge mistake. But considering Forlan's ability, if Ibrahimovic hadn't done that, Forlan could very well have scored. It can't be said that Ibrahimovic's choice was entirely wrong. But at the very least, he didn't handle it very well. Forlan is taking the penalty. He talked to Keane and Giggs, and the latter two agreed. It seems they have a lot of confidence in Forlan's shooting skills and mental fortitude. Bang! With Forlan's powerful shot, Reina was powerless to stop it. Goal, 3-2. Manchester United overtakes Sporting Lisbon. A last-minute winner. This could very well be a game-winning goal. Forlan comes on as a substitute and scores a penalty against Sporting Lisbon. The score is finally back on track, and the result most fans initially predicted has become a reality. Manchester United's Portuguese league side can't beat the main body after all. Sporting Lisbon played incredibly hard in this match, they did their best. But their opponent is the invincible Manchester United. They have every reason to be proud. Taking the lead at home drove the Red Devils fans wild. They started chanting and even performed the wave at home. This led to Manchester United's players being incredibly energetic in the final moments, putting pressure on Sporting Lisbon. In the 88th minute, Beckham delivered another header cross from the wing. Diego Forlan leaped high, and despite the Sporting Lisbon defender's close attention, he still found an opportunity. Bang! Forlan heads the ball towards goal. Bang! Font leaps and stretches out his leg, trying to block Forlan's attack with his body. Chapter 503 Old Trafford hat-trick celebration. But he didn't expect. Forlan's header was actually a high-quality ground slam shot. The ball bounced off the ground and struck Font precisely in the groin. Font's body twisted in mid-air. He landed, clutching his groin, and collapsed to the ground. If he had known this would be the result, he definitely wouldn't have blocked the ball. Winning or losing is just a game, but whether your little brother is healthy is a lifelong matter. But no one said he was a bastard. Because he used his little brother to keep Sporting Lisbon's chance for the next leg. He blocked Forlan's shot. Vidic, who had rushed back, turned and kicked the ball long. Deng Kai ran to the ball's position and directly received it with a long pass, completing a super fast pass and shot. Kaká received the ball and completed a dribbling move before Keane could catch up, a beautiful 1-2, ready to outmaneuver Keane. But Keane, as the future greatest midfielder in Premier League history, as a super player who could outshine the world's best defensive midfielder Vieira in terms of performance at this stage, was naturally not just a name. Keane immediately braked, turned, and pulled his shirt to mark Kaká. Many defenders would be confused when faced with a 1-2 pass, becoming easy targets. But Keane chose to stick with a man, not the ball. From this, it's easy to predict Keane's next move. Sticking with the ball indicates confidence in his speed, dribbling, and physical strength, allowing him to solve the problem directly. Sticking with a man suggests experience. Even if he can't solve the problem, he can deal with the one who created it. Sure enough, as Kaká accelerated again, seemingly about to shake off Keane, bang! Keane tackled Kaká to the ground. The referee immediately blew his whistle. Despite Varane and Solskjaer's attempts to dissuade him, the referee resolutely showed a yellow card, upholding fairness. This was Keane's second yellow card of the match. 2 yellows equals 1 red card. Keane was sent off. Manchester United faced 10 men. Furthermore, Keane will be suspended for the next leg. Unless Manchester United reach the Champions League final, their Champions League campaign this season is essentially over. Sporting Lisbon, of course, is also playing with 10 men. Font's young friend is still receiving treatment on the sidelines and won't be back on the pitch for another minute or two. Kaká is very fast. Keane really can't keep up with him, and you have to remember Keane is already 32. Considering Sporting Lisbon's relatively low threat in the next leg, a red card for Keane isn't unacceptable. After all, if he gets another red card in the next round and misses the final, that would be a truly unacceptable consequence for Manchester United fans. As for this free kick, the position is quite dangerous. Hopefully, Manchester United will be prepared. Of course, Manchester United is very good at scoring from free kicks, and also very good at defending them. They have conceded the third fewest goals from set pieces in the Premier League this season. Trigura nodded in agreement. That was a well-chosen statement. It sounded much better than saying Manchester United has conceded a lot of goals from open play this season. And this is largely due to Varane's arrival and Stam's departure. Behind the ball, Duncan was taking a deep breath. He was completely focused. This could very well be the team's last attacking opportunity in this match. Bang! Deng Kai unleashed his full shooting prowess with a free kick. But Barthez's greatest characteristic is his unpredictability. He can concede many incredible goals, and equally, he can save many incredible ones. Ronaldo's second goal stemmed from Barthez's slip-up. But according to the law of conservation of goals, what Ronaldo missed might be regained by Deng Kai. Beautiful. Barthez's superb save. He kept Deng Kai's free kick out. Incredible. That was a world-class save. This. Bang. According to the law of conservation of goals, a goal that should have been scored, even if interfered with, will eventually return to its correct trajectory. Ronaldo. Ronaldo has come out. A follow-up shot. Beautiful. Goal. Ronaldo. Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo again. 3-3. My God. A miracle. Ronaldo has created a miracle. He has become the first player in history to score a hat-trick on his first visit to Old Trafford. 7 shots in total. 5 shots on target. 3 goals. Ronaldo's shooting skills are terrifying. Ronaldo is undoubtedly the most outstanding player today. He equalized the score. He single-handedly made Sporting Lisbon leave Old Trafford with a point. Ronaldo. This is his 13th Champions League goal this season. Regardless of the team's performance, Ronaldo has almost already secured the Champions League Golden Boot this season. He is one of the best strikers in world football this season. This might have been a bit premature to say last season, but this season, he couldn't wait to announce it to fans all over the world. And I agree. On the field, even someone as proud as Ronaldo, after scoring this goal, excitedly ran to the sidelines and made a dunk and sweet celebration to the fans. What was astonishing was that nearly half of the home fans in the Old Trafford stands erupted in cheers alongside Ronaldo. A small number of Sporting Lisbon fans clapped and cheered wildly. "Ronaldo! Ronaldo! Ronaldo!" they chanted. About 3 seconds later, the stadium exploded. Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson, sitting on the bench speechless at the goal, also joined in the applause. He was incredibly satisfied with Ronaldo's performance. His intuition told him that this young man, so arrogant and powerful in front of them, would likely achieve something comparable to Beckham in the future. Perhaps even surpass him. Ronaldo! 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 Manchester United fans clapped and cheered along with Ferguson. The deafening cheers even made fans outside the stadium think their team had scored another goal, leading 4-2. Oh! Unbelievable! The theater of dreams has turned against them. Young Ronaldo has conquered this stadium. He looks around, and all he sees is cheers. In the footage, Deng Kai walks to Ronaldo's side. He notices Ronaldo's bewilderment. Cristiano Ronaldo's celebration was tinged with anger at being outplayed, anger at being told he wasn't as good as Van Nistelrooy, and anger at the global perception that Sporting Lisbon would inevitably lose to Manchester United. His expression was grim. Then, the opposing team, returning good for evil, applauded him. What was he supposed to do? Duncan went over and hugged Ronaldo, then dragged him away from the Manchester United fans area. Manchester United then kicked off. They were somewhat dissatisfied with Ronaldo's legendary moment at this stadium. In the 95th minute, Pepe, who had lost more one-on-one duels with Beckham than wins, finally won. He dispossessed Beckham and launched a long pass. Ibrahimovic, dropping back, held off Varane and headed the ball on. Duncan got a one-on-one opportunity. Manchester United had pushed too far forward in the final moments, creating a huge opening. But before Duncan could even take off, he was tackled from behind by Solskjaer. Whistle. The referee immediately rushed to Solskjaer and pulled out a red card. Players from both sides gathered around. Solskjaer didn't react to the referee's decision. He probably expected the outcome. After receiving the red card, his first action was to bend down and ask Deng Kai, who hadn't yet stood up, how he was. Deng Kai got up and said he was fine. He could tell Solskjaer was worried about whether he was injured. After all, Deng Kai had only recently recovered from an injury. If you were injured again, it could very likely leave lasting effects. Sorry, lad, Solskjaer gave Deng Kai a hug. It's okay, I understand. Deng Kai patted Solskjaer's head. The fans at Old Trafford applauded. They were very satisfied with Deng Kai's sportsmanship and Solskjaer's defensive attitude. If it weren't for Solskjaer, Manchester United might not only have been tied, but could have been defeated in the final moments. That was a price they could never afford. Then, as Ronaldinho's free kick flew directly into the stands, the referee blew his whistle 3 times, ending the match. Sporting Lisbon held Manchester United to a 3-3 draw away from home. They took the lead twice, but ultimately found themselves chasing their opponents in the final moments. Luckily, they had Ronaldo. Don't let the naive fans think that way. Ronaldo? After the match, Ronaldo received a super high score of 9.8, earning him the MVP award. This was undisputed. But fans largely overlooked what Deng Kai did in this game. Both of Manchester United's red cards stemmed from Deng Kai's passes or dribbling. All 3 of Ronaldo's goals were also related to Deng Kai. False fans are already celebrating Ronaldo's hat-trick. But true fans are full of anticipation for the next leg. Chapter 504 Manchester United's tactical change. Cristiano Ronaldo scores hat-trick in Old Trafford debut. Manchester United fans applaud. Ferguson applauds in praise. Ronaldo's new summer club emerges. 13 goals tops the Champions League scoring charts. The 16-year-old European Bronze Boot winner is getting stronger and stronger. Kenan Solskjaer sent off. 9-man Manchester United concede to Sporting Lisbon. Pepe and Barzagli suspended. Sporting Lisbon's defense is worrying for the next round. With 3 away goals, this may be Sporting Lisbon's only chance to advance to the final. Turn the tables? Is Sporting Lisbon's winning percentage already higher than Manchester United's? CCTV commentator Hiway doesn't think so. The most classic match of this round has been revealed. Sporting Lisbon again. After the match, related topics remained highly discussed. Sir Alex Ferguson was also asked about Ronaldo's performance. He replied, "When any player scores a hat-trick at Old Trafford, he's no longer ordinary. I have high hopes for Ronaldo. I think he has the potential to become a world-class striker. Is there any consideration of signing Ronaldo? Of course, no team wouldn't want such an excellent striker. I don't think there's any need to worry about the atmosphere within Manchester United. Manchester United's strikers are all excellent, and I believe they won't be afraid of competition." The final? Of course, I have no doubt that Manchester United will reach the final. Sporting Lisbon did a fantastic job, but victory will belong to Manchester United. We are fully prepared mentally for the next leg. Real Madrid? I don't want to talk about Real Madrid right now. Focusing on the next match is what we should be doing. Ferguson's reply was commendable, expressing Manchester United's confidence without being overly ambitious or giving the impression of carelessness. Therefore, most people still believe that the tide is in Manchester United's favor. April 27, Portuguese League Round 33. Sporting Lisbon vs Benfica. Sporting Lisbon, having already secured the Portuguese league title, once again rested their entire squad. However, they were not criticized after the match, because the young players delivered another impressive performance. Chinese player Yu Shihao scored twice, strongly helping his team secure a draw against Benfica. Benfica's fighting spirit, exhausted from their previous match against Porto, was relatively weak in this game. April 30th. Real Madrid and Bayern Munich's semi-final second leg took place first. Real Madrid, relying on an assist from the newly crowned Ballon d'Or winner Raúl and a goal from the newly crowned FIFA World Player of the Year Figo, drew 1-1 with Bayern, holding on to their home ground. Thus, with an aggregate score of 3-1, they became the first team to advance to this year's Champions League final. For a time, the Galacticos were unstoppable. That night, Manchester United quietly flew to Sporting Lisbon. Their spirits weren't high, as they were completely out of contention for the league title. Only Liverpool still had a slim chance. But after the next round of league matches, barring any surprises, Arsenal should win the title. Manchester United's three-peat in the Premier League was ended. If they couldn't win a Champions League trophy, then this Red Dynasty might truly be coming to an end. No one is invincible forever. This Manchester United team's current achievements are already a miracle. But every miracle creator hopes it will last forever. At least, everyone hopes the end will come later. May 1st. Both sides announced their starting lineups. Manchester United made significant adjustments. Ferguson set aside his arrogance, returning Manchester United to a traditional style of play. A 4-4-2 formation declared their willingness to sacrifice everything for the continuation of the dynasty, including Ferguson's dignity. Van Nistelrooy and Forlan formed a dream strike partnership. York was on the bench. Giggs, Scholes, Varane, and Beckham formed a dream midfield. Left-wing attacks, right-wing passes, long-range shots. The only thing this midfield lacked was defense. This was the only problem caused by Keane's absence. If Keane were still there, Ferguson would probably have benched Varane, last year's Premier League record signing. In fact, a traditionally playing Manchester United doesn't really need a midfielder like Varane, who is extremely talented in attack. They need a midfielder who is primarily defensive but also has other functions, or simply a versatile player. Varane's versatility and defensive attributes are extremely weak. If his strengths aren't utilized, he's only a second-rate midfielder. However, Manchester United's flanks have effectively broken down the team's attacking tasks, leaving Varane with little room to maneuver. In defense, Phil Neville, Blanc, Silvestre, and Gary Neville form the backline. Barthez remains in goal. O'Shea started well in the last match, but collapsed after Ronaldo's goal, getting completely outplayed. Before that match, O'Shea was considered a star player by many Red Devils fans. After that game, simply not mentioning O'Shea is the greatest respect one can show him. Therefore, with Gary's recovery, he naturally starts. On the other hand, Sporting Lisbon's starting lineup has also undergone significant changes. Most surprisingly, They've added a defender to help with defense due to decline in defensive quality. They continue with their 3 center-back formation. They even fielded an unprofessional fullback like Macon as a makeshift center-back. Cristiano Ronaldo, Drogba, Kaká, Duncan, Ronaldinho, Matos, Guardiola, Font, Vidic, Macon, Reina. This raised questions. However, a look at Sporting Lisbon's squad list explained it. Even Font started. This indicated that Sporting Lisbon didn't have many more excellent defenders. Instead of expecting another low-level defender, it was better to maintain a high-quality midfield and attack. In the afternoon, Sporting Lisbon fans gradually entered the stadium. Today, the home ground was a sea of green and white, a stark contrast to Manchester United's home ground. Some fans held banners, others painted their faces with art paint. The atmosphere was incredibly vibrant. As the capital of Portugal, Lisbon has many residents from other regions who love their hometown teams. But today, they all wore Sporting Lisbon jerseys and came to the stadium. Some fans even noticed that the president of a well-known Benfica Supporters Association was there to cheer for Sporting Lisbon. In contrast, Manchester United fans were few and far between. Soon, both teams entered the locker room to prepare for the match. Then, to the rousing strains of the Champions League march, they led their ball boys onto the pitch. Among them, Deng Kai was leading his die-hard fan, Bruno Fernandes. Little Fernandes was leading the way, his face beaming with pride. The camera also panned to the stands, where Pepe and Barzagli, both dressed in suits, watched the game with expressions even more tense than the players on the field. Chapter 505 Hong Kai Sheng's desperate cry. The match started quickly. In the 3rd minute, Deng Kai's long pass ignited the first high point of the game. A direct connection between CD and Ronaldo resulted in Ronaldo chesting the ball down, but his shot, sandwiched between Blanc and Silvestre, lacked power and was easily caught by Barthez. In the 7th minute, Manchester United launched a counter-attack. Varane's long pass found Giggs on the left wing. Giggs delivered a cross. Scholes surged forward, ready to unleash a powerful shot. However, Van Nistelrooy had also reached that position, and his lateral run was certainly not as advantageous as Scholes's. But Scholes saw Van Nistelrooy's determination and quickly braked. Van Nistelrooy forced a half-turn and fired a shot, but the ball went wide. Van Nistelrooy's attacking instincts are extremely strong, but sometimes this can be a weakness. In the 13th minute, Varane delivered a long diagonal pass from the defensive midfield position, finding Beckham. Previously, many believed that Varane wouldn't play a significant role in this lineup and tactical setup. But Varane showcased his playmaking talent, transforming himself from Zidane into Guardiola, and his partnership with the two highly attacking wingers proved effective. Beckham received the ball, made a slight adjustment, and delivered a high-quality header cross. Even Pepe couldn't stop Beckham, so Font's arrival made it even easier for him to score. Bang! Van Nistelrooy headed the ball in the middle. Reina reacted superbly, saving the shot. Bang! Diego Forlan followed up with a shot from the right. Vidic stretched out his leg and blocked the ball. Bang! Scholes made a run and completed a triple strike. The ball nestled into Sporting Lisbon's goal. 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 Manchester United score first, 1-0. Manchester United have one foot in the Champions League final. Manchester United's three-pronged attack finally paid off. Scholes hasn't adapted well to the shadow striker position this season, but it's also beneficial for him. His attacking acumen is much higher than before, especially his awareness of follow-up shots after making runs. Manchester United players are celebrating. The Alvalade Stadium is silent. Although Sporting Lisbon fans had expected this result, it still came a little too soon. Champions League. I can't help but say goodbye. After this season, I wonder how many players from this young team will remain. 19th minute. Sporting Lisbon, after conceding a goal, are eager to equalize. Duncan chipped the ball to Kaká. Kaká received the ball and then passed it diagonally past Varane. Saying Varane was Guardiola before was irresponsible. Because Varane's defense is somewhat worse than Guardiola's. And Guardiola, as an organizing defensive midfielder, is inherently more prone to defensive lapses. Therefore, bang! Drogba's long-range shot went wildly wide. In the 31st minute, Kaká dribbled past Varane and passed the ball across the goal before Gary Neville could reach it. Duncan made a run and unleashed the long-range shot, but it was too central and Barthez saved it. Ronaldinho rushed in for the rebound, but Blanc's defense was excellent, closing in on Ronaldinho and causing his shot to go high. In the 42nd minute, Sporting Lisbon's relentless attack continued. Kaká and Ronaldinho switched positions, causing some selective frustration for Manchester United's defenders. Bang! Duncan seized the opportunity and played a through ball. Kaká suddenly surged forward during the positional switch, starting from the right flank and unleashing a powerful shot from the right side of the penalty area. However, the right side wasn't his usual area of play, and his right-footed shot was too difficult on the right wing, hitting the side netting. In the 44th minute, Sporting Lisbon, unable to break through, lost possession in their own half. Instead of launching a counter-attack immediately, Manchester United, under Varane's guidance, completed more than 10 passes. Sporting Lisbon's defensive focus faltered as a result. After his 10th pass, Varane suddenly surged forward, combining with Beckham and Forlan on several occasions. Finally, Varane received the ball just outside the penalty area. Bang! Varane touched the ball and passed it diagonally to the left wing. Giggs, unmarked on the left side of the penalty area, cut inside and unleashed a powerful shot. The ball nestled into the top corner of the goal. 2-0. Manchester United has the victory in their grasp. As expected of Manchester United. After figuring out Sporting Lisbon's strength in the first leg, they played with ease in the second leg. Sporting Lisbon's attack is sharp, but Manchester United's defense has withstood the high-intensity test of the Premier League. With Beckham and Giggs helping to track back, their clean sheet is not surprising. Manchester United just completed 17 consecutive passes, with Varane involved in 8 of them, including the final assist. Varane has finally proven himself on Manchester United's most important pitch. Such an artistic goal. Perhaps this is exactly what Ferguson wanted to achieve by signing him. This is the continental tactic Ferguson has been searching for. The process may have been difficult, but the result is truly magnificent. At the Al Balade Stadium, the fans felt as if a bullet had been shot into their hearts. Some fans with weaker constitutions had already burst into tears. On the sidelines, Bruno Fernandes, the ball boy who had previously played alongside Deng Kai, was crying uncontrollably, his face flushed and breathless. His sadness and distress were evident. As the match entered halftime, commentators began summarizing the series and looking ahead to the final between Manchester United and Real Madrid. CCTV 5. Hiway was discussing Manchester United's performance in this match and their lineup for the final. Real Madrid's attacking line is too strong. Instead of putting Keane in defense, you should put Varane in to focus on attack. Varane's perfect performance in this match was on full display. He needs the ball, he needs freedom, and he's not entirely incompatible with Giggs, Beckham, and Scholes. If Ferguson gives Varane the same freedom that Duncan had at Sporting Lisbon, this Manchester United team will have successfully transitioned to a continental style. Wang Jiangxiang nodded in agreement, saying, "That's right, but may I ask why a basketball commentator is commentating on football?" Hiway humbly replied, "Commentator Hong Kai-sheng had an upset stomach and went to the toilet, so I temporarily filled in for him. I left as soon as he returned, because I know my views don't align with the mainstream opinion on our station. But I stand by my opinion. I believe that a Manchester United team that sticks to a continental style of play is capable of defeating Real Madrid, because Real Madrid's lineup actually has some fatal flaws." Wang Jiangxiang frowned. Was Hong Kai-sheng's stomach really that bad? In a CCTV restroom, bang bang bang. Let me out. Who the hell is so heartless as to leave someone in the restroom? And there's no toilet paper. Are you trying to ambush me? Don't let me catch you. Is anyone there? Is anyone outside? My phone, I think I gave my phone to that chubby kid. Damn it. What bad luck. P.S. I'm going home tomorrow, then I can write more. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 506: A Desperate Struggle. In the home team's locker room, Beckham and Varane are a huge problem. We have to find a way to deal with them. Trigura was discussing targeted tactics with Duncan. Maxa was communicating with the players about their emotions. Today, the two Manchester United players with Beckham in their names had performed exceptionally well. Manchester United knows our ability to catch up. They can continue their relentless attack in the second half, Duncan analyzed. Ferguson will ask Varane and Scholes to focus more on defense. Beckham and Giggs will also drop back relatively. This means Varane's passing will completely lose its effectiveness. So a real problem is only one person, and that's Beckham. Beckham's crosses are unstoppable, but his dribbling skills are simple. He lacks one-on-one ability, and it's difficult for him to be effective against persistent opponents. At this point, Trigueros understood. Evra, go warm up, you'll come on in the second half. Guardiola, you'll need to rest for a while. Guardiola nodded, indicating his understanding and support. He accepted being substituted. Because, from the perspective of limiting Beckham, Evra is far more suitable. 15 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. The match between Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon continued. Everyone noticed Sporting Lisbon's substitution. Evra was brought in by Sporting Lisbon from a lower league French team this season. This player doesn't have much talent, and so far, he's mostly played the role of a versatile substitute for Sporting Lisbon. Replacing Guardiola with him might be an attempt to use his running ability and speed to limit Beckham. However, judging from Manchester United's positioning, Beckham won't be too far forward in the second half. Sporting Lisbon's adjustments targeting Beckham are likely to fail. 49th minute. Everyone still underestimated Evra's role. Admittedly, Evra's defense isn't strong, but his relentless running caused Manchester United considerable trouble, especially when Varane couldn't directly connect with the attacking players. Manchester United cannot afford to launch long balls directly from their own half to find the centre forward when they have the initiative. They primarily attack down the flanks, relying heavily on Giggs and Beckham to advance the ball and create threats. In the first half, Manchester United's attacking patterns largely revolved around Varane finding Giggs and Beckham on the left and right flanks of the attacking third. These two then created opportunities for the forwards. However, when Giggs and Beckham were deep in their own half, Varane had to wait for them to make runs before he could pass to them. This time seemed short, only a few seconds. But those few seconds significantly increased the difficulty of Varane's possession. The referee blew his whistle, pointed at Varane, and showed him a yellow card. While waiting for Beckham to make a run, Varane was dispossessed by Evra in the attacking third. Losing possession in that position was dangerous, and Varane immediately fouled Evra. In the 50th minute, Matos, Evra, and Duncan surrounded Varane. Varane's pass to Scholes was intercepted by Evra. Evra passed to Duncan. Duncan quickly passed and shot, sending the ball forward. Drogba surged into the penalty area, but Barthez, a step ahead, cleared the ball first, punching it out of the box. Sporting Lisbon created several threats, making the Manchester United players nervous. In the 60th minute, Duncan passed back to Macon, simultaneously pointing forward, signaling Macon to make a run. Macon passed to Matos, who received the pass, and then started his run. Matos passed across to Duncan. Duncan chipped the ball over Varane to Ronaldinho on the right. Ronaldinho feinted to the right but failed to shake off Phil, but then immediately passed the ball across to the left. Macon, playing as a makeshift centre-back, flew directly to the right flank. Bang! Phil turned and tackled Macon, bringing him down and earning a yellow card for a double foul. Sporting Lisbon were awarded a free kick from a distance. But Macon fell to the ground, clutching his ankle. Macon's run was beautiful. Foul. Phil Neville gets a yellow card. Oh. Macon seems to be injured. This is bad news. He had just found a way to help the team, and his runs were very threatening. We can see Wu Zedong warming up. Sporting Lisbon is making a substitution. Domestic fans should be excited right now. Although it's bad news for Macon, Wu Zedong is about to become the first domestic player to play in a Champions League semi-final. This is a historic moment. Okay. Sporting Lisbon makes a substitution. Wu Zedong replaces the injured Macon. Wait, Ibrahimovic is coming on too, so early? Not Drogba. Ibrahimovic isn't replacing Drogba. Matthias is off. Is Sporting Lisbon switching to 4-4-2? He frowned. It seems Sporting Lisbon has surrendered. Ibrahimovic and Drogba as the two centre forwards, Ronaldo, Kaká, Duncan, and Ronaldinho as the midfielders. Evra, Font, Vidic, and Wu Zedong as the four defenders. This is a safe choice. They don't want Manchester United to score again. I think their decision is correct. Since they already have no chance of winning, they shouldn't lose too badly. Otherwise, the players' weaknesses will be exposed one by one, and their market value will plummet. Just as he finished speaking, Sporting Lisbon attempted a free kick from Deng Kai. But the distance was too far, and the ball went over the bar. Sporting Lisbon's subsequent defensive retreat was indeed a 4-4-2. Wei looked at Wang Jiangxiang smugly. Meaning, look how awesome I am. Wang Jiangxiang shook his head. Naive? You know nothing about Sporting Lisbon. Defense? This team never defends when they're behind. On the field, the pace of both sides slowed down. Sporting Lisbon used the long-range ball control tactic, but failed to find opportunities on either side, retreating after each touch. In the 77th minute, Ronaldinho passed back to Deng Kai, Deng Kai passed to Evra, Evra passed to Font, Font passed back to Deng Kai. Bang! Deng Kai suddenly fired. He launched a long ball down the right flank. But strangely, after the pass back, Ronaldinho kept circling around in midfield. Who was he going to pass to? Ronaldinho 5 seconds later? Wu Zidane. Wu Zidane and Ronaldinho made a cross. He accelerated. So fast, Sporting Lisbon substitute right back Wu Zidane is too fast. Ronaldinho completely disrupted Giggs and Scholes, creating space for Wu Zidane to receive the ball. Chapter 507 1 star, 7 arrows, Cristiano Ronaldo sheds tears. Phil is in an inward position, running towards the ball. He thought his teammates had marked Ronaldinho, but unexpectedly, Wu Zidane came up instead. Too fast. Stop the ball. Wu Zidane kicks the ball forward. He's going to beat Phil. He's past him, Wu Zidane is past him. Bang! Wu Zidane crosses the ball, and Phil Neville tries his best but can't interfere. Fortunately, Blanc anticipates well and clears the ball at the near post. If the ball had been a little higher, Manchester United would be in danger. Sporting Lisbon really didn't give up. The fullbacks are pushing forward, creating a great threat by linking up with the wingers and midfielders. It's a pity Macon is injured, otherwise Wu Zidane and Macon on the left and right wings would be flying together. With Ronaldo and Ronaldinho, Sporting Lisbon with 4 wings might actually be able to score a goal. As a result, Sporting Lisbon's left back is now Evra. This player isn't fast enough, but he's still far from taking off, far less sharp than Wu Zidane and Macon. Evra, is this even considered a comparison? Ronaldinho headed towards the corner flag. Bang! Ronaldinho took the corner. The penalty area was teeming with people. But Font suddenly leaped up, a lone figure standing out. Bang! A classic powerful header. The ball nestled into Manchester United's goal. Goal. Font. It's Font. Sporting Lisbon did it. They seized this corner opportunity, What? Goal disallowed? Why? Damn. The referee ruled that Font fouled Blanco by pushing him before scoring. We can definitely see that in slow motion. No wonder Font got open, he didn't hold back. Blanco's face was completely slapped. Manchester United escaped a close call and maintained their 2-0 lead. Meanwhile, Sporting Lisbon launched a furious attack. Evra and Wu Zidane regularly played as wingers. Rather than a 4-4-2 formation, Sporting Lisbon was more like a 2-2-6. In extreme cases, they were even a 2-1-7. Evra, Kaká, Ronaldo, Drogba, Ibrahimovic, Ronaldinho, Wu Zidane. Following Sporting Lisbon's previous 6-goal and 5-goal attacks, they used an extreme 7-goal attacking lineup against Manchester United. It has to be said, they were crazy. In the 82nd minute, Manchester United seized the opportunity to make a substitution, replacing the exhausted Van Nistelrooy with Cole. This substitution reflected Ferguson's anger. Sporting Lisbon's 7-forward formation was simply too arrogant. Big clubs win not only by score but also by momentum. This would benefit Manchester United when facing Real Madrid in the final. Therefore, Manchester United did not tackle any attacking players. They wanted to punish Sporting Lisbon. 7-goal attack? What a joke. In the 83rd minute, Giggs and Scholes combined to dispossess Kaká, and Scholes played a superb through ball. Cole received the ball and was one-on-one with the on-rushing Reina, calmly slotting the ball home. The Alvalade Stadium erupted in groans. But the referee blew his whistle. He declared a goal invalid once again. Cole was offside. Oh. Sporting Lisbon escaped a close call. But it doesn't mean much. They're down by 2 goals and have little hope. 1 star and 7 arrows sounds fierce, but they can't afford any mistakes. This is clearly not the right way to come back. Wei was very pessimistic about this style of play that relied entirely on Deng Kai's passing ability. It was too childish. In the 88th minute, Kaká broke through the middle and passed the ball across to the on-rushing Deng Kai. Sporting Lisbon had 8 players attacking in the front, leaving only Font and Vidic in the back. If they lost possession, they would be doomed. Bang! Deng Kai didn't handle the ball calmly, even though everyone thought they should be as careful and cautious as possible at this moment. But Deng Kai chose to play a through ball without stopping it. The ball instantly pierced through Varane and Silvestre. Ronaldo, carrying Gary Neville, unleashed a powerful shot from the edge of the penalty area. Gary couldn't stop Ronaldo. Clang! But the crossbar of the Alvalade Stadium betrayed them. It actually blocked the shot. The football flew towards the stands, leaving Sporting Lisbon supporters with a lump in their throats. So close. Just a little bit more. Cristiano Ronaldo. Just a little bit more and everything would have been different. Wang Jiangxiang lamented. This is the difference between an excellent striker and a top striker. The difference is small, but when it manifests, it's always at the most crucial moment. Wei also shook his head, saying, Cristiano Ronaldo is still too young. He has a lot of goals, but very few are truly fatal. Is Ronaldo crying? He cried. Ronaldo actually cried. It seems he knows their Champions League journey is over. At this moment, his heart is filled with bitterness, but that's football. Someone always has to be the loser in this match. Cristiano Ronaldo's heart isn't strong enough. On camera, watching the football bounce away, Ronaldo's eyes suddenly reddened. Tears welled up in his eyes. He widened his eyes, almost biting his cheeks to pieces, but still couldn't stop the tears from flowing. Cristiano Ronaldo clutched his head, seething with resentment. If he had another chance, he would have done better. He would have scored that damn goal. He definitely would. Ronaldo knew that someone always had to lose a match. But, why did it have to be him? He was unwilling to accept it. He hated this feeling. Nacional Madeira, Sporting Lisbon's youth academy, Moreirense, Sporting Lisbon's first team. Ronaldo had never experienced such a huge setback in his entire life. The stronger he was usually, the more broken he felt now. That resentment was stuck in his throat, almost suffocating him. Hey! Ronaldo heard a familiar voice. He turned around, his eyes blurred with tears. A blurry white-green figure said to Ronaldo, "Are you going to give up?" Ronaldo wiped away his tears. "Get back on defense. If we really lose, I'll cry with you." Deng Kai waved to Ronaldo and ran back to the backfield. Watching Deng Kai's retreating figure, Ronaldo's eyes hardened. How could you possibly give up? Ronaldo pouted and began to retreat. Sporting Lisbon failed to change the score during regular time. There were 3 minutes of added time. Ferguson immediately complained. No goals in the second half, why 3 minutes? It should only be 1 minute. But the referee stated that there was significantly more time spent on the ground and for injury checks in the second half, making the added time reasonable. Ferguson could only signal his players to retreat completely. Even Cole and Forlan didn't cross the halfway line. In the 91st minute, Ronaldinho dribbled on the right, preparing to cut inside. But Phil retreated near the penalty area, not intending to defend. Chapter 508 Reina, here. To put it bluntly, whatever you do, I definitely won't leave my defensive position. Ronaldinho passed a ball to Wu Zedong, who was overlapping behind him, and cut inside without the ball. Bang! After receiving the ball, Wu Zedong dribbled 2 steps towards the byline and then crossed a ball. Blanco leaped high and blocked the ball with his back at the near post. Blanco, being a championship-caliber center-back, judged from the moment Wu Zedong came on that Wu Zedong's crosses weren't good enough, unable to deliver a high arc and accurate header. Therefore, Wu Zedong's crosses were often low and flat, or even sweeping across. Once he crossed high, the ball would drift and create no threat. This was one of the key reasons why Wu Zedong was relegated to the bench by Macon. Macon's crosses were relatively more refined. Even Evra's crosses were slightly better than Wu Zedong's. Unfortunately, the ball bounced towards Ronaldinho. Bang! Ronaldinho unleashed a powerful shot. The ball grazed Phil's thigh and flew towards the goal. But Barthez, known for his unpredictable speed, displayed incredible reflexes, successfully making a save. It was a world-class save. The ball bounced towards Phil, then towards the byline. Wu Zedong, who had just crossed the byline, instinctively tried to receive the ball. "Don't move!" Deng Kai shouted, his Mandarin accent perfect. Wu Zedong instinctively stopped in his tracks. Phil, watching Wu Zedong prepare to receive the ball, deliberately slowed down, knowing that receiving the ball would be offside. However, Zidane didn't receive the ball. Instead, Ronaldinho, a step slower, rushed over and, right in front of Phil, executed a cutback pass from the byline. The ball went directly to Deng Kai on the edge of the penalty area. But with Blanco and Barthez in front of Deng Kai, and Varane on his left, his shot was likely to be blocked. So, Deng Kai let the ball through. Kaká, a powerful shot. Goal. Kaká scores. Deng Kai's beautiful dribble. Ronaldinho assists Kaká to score. The Brazilian duo have delivered their most important attack since joining the team this season, 1-2. Sporting Lisbon has finally pulled one back. The aggregate score is now 4-5. Sporting Lisbon is down by 1 goal. But if they score another goal, Manchester United will be in trouble. Because if it's 5-5, Manchester United, with 2 away goals, will be eliminated by Sporting Lisbon, who have 3 away goals. Sporting Lisbon still has a chance. Ronaldo rushes into the goal and takes the ball out. The Sporting Lisbon players don't celebrate, they quickly return to their own half. They are racing against time. The Manchester United players' expressions have clearly become serious. Looking at the time and score, the originally dull stoppage time suddenly became exciting. Many Manchester United fans who were already celebrating their team's entry into the Champions League final stopped abruptly. Countless people rushed to their television sets. Both sets of fans offered prayers, but their sentiments were drastically different. In the 92nd minute, Deng Kai dribbled down the left flank, attempting a cross pass with Ronaldo. Ronaldo had found space, but Gary Neville made a brilliant anticipatory tackle. He boldly slid in, successfully dispossessing Deng Kai and bringing him down legally. Ronaldo immediately charged at Gary, attempting a sliding tackle. However, Gary had already passed the ball to Scholes ahead and dodged the poor tackle. Gary and Ronaldo, running forward and sliding across the ground, locked eyes, a tense atmosphere thick with tension. Gary, so you're Chris, the one who beat O'Shea? You're nothing special, still got shut out by me. Remember how you were crying? So pathetic. Ronaldo, even if I lose, I lost to Beckham, Scholes, Giggs, and Varane. What does it have to do with you? Next time we meet, I'll beat you to pulp. You wait. Bang. Scholes dribbled forward a few steps before passing to Beckham on the wing. After getting up, Ronaldo didn't rush to check on the fallen Duncan, but went straight for Gary. Bang. Beckham crossed a ball. But the short ever jumped very high. His shoulder grazed the ball, changing its trajectory and sending it flying high, losing its surprise. Ronaldo tracked back into his own penalty area, blocking Cole. Reina boldly rushed out, jumping and catching the ball over Forlan's head. Here, Duncan, who had just gotten up from the ground, was near the midfield line with several Manchester United defenders. Reina immediately launched a long ball. Forlan was a step too slow, jumping but failing to block the ball. The ball flew towards the left side of the field. Duncan quickly ran forward. To his left was Gary, who had started retreating when he saw Beckham preparing to pass. His defensive awareness was excellent. To Duncan's right was Varane. After disappearing from the attack, Varane spent most of his time at the back, participating in defense. A three-pronged attack. Varane, furthest inside, had the positional advantage, being closest to the ball. When the ball first bounced, no one could touch it. After bouncing, the ball's speed decreased significantly. Varane arrived beside the ball, but the bounce prevented him from controlling it. He could only lean towards Deng Kai, trying to block him with his body. But Deng Kai also seized the opportunity to suddenly exert force, resulting in a fierce physical contact with Varane. Varane thought Deng Kai was trying to create a free kick, the best opportunity for Sporting Lisbon's final attack. Deng Kai, Ronaldinho, Kaká, and Cristiano Ronaldo all had excellent free kicks. So Varane didn't exert force, to avoid Deng Kai diving. However, a tremendous force struck, causing him to stumble and be easily knocked aside by Deng Kai. Varane's eyes widened. Not creating a free kick? Deng Kai was crazy. Gary was on the left, Silvestre was in the penalty area, and Barthez was also fully focused. How many could Deng Kai take on? Creating a free kick was more worthwhile. Bang! Deng Kai used his head to slam the rising ball back to the ground. Gary immediately moved in, attempting to steal the ball. Bang! The ball had just landed when Deng Kai flicked it to his right with his right foot. Cut inside. This move immediately blocked Gary, who had been running alongside him. Gary reached out from behind Deng Kai and pulled him. Deng Kai's jersey was stretched taut. Deng Kai slapped Gary's hand away, but Gary had already used the foul to accelerate, managing to catch up with Deng Kai on the outside. On the other side, Silvestre came out to cover after Varane was out of position, rushing towards the ball to clear it. But Deng Kai's flick was high and short. Silvestre had to slow down in advance, and after the ball landed, he judged its trajectory before accelerating and jumping, preparing to kick the ball away. However, in this time, Deng Kai and Gary had already caught up with the ball. Bang! Deng Kai once again headed the ball to the right side of the ground as it rose. Chapter 509 The allure of that collision. He suddenly turned. Gary, on his left flank, was unavoidably kicked by Silvestre. The two rolled on the left side of the penalty area. Manchester United's defenders have had a traffic accident. Gary, chasing Duncan, was kicked down by Silvestre, who was clearing the ball. Both fell to the ground simultaneously, Gary in great pain. Duncan is one-on-one. He's one-on-one. Will Barthez come out? He didn't come out immediately because he didn't expect Duncan to break through three defenders. Duncan slowed down, adjusted his position. He was very calm. At this time, strikers are most likely to miss a shooting opportunity because they can't slow down and take too long a touch. Duncan didn't make a mistake. Barthez had no choice but to come out. Bang! Duncan curled a shot. The arc was very high. Although Barthez predicted the direction correctly, he had given Duncan too many adjustment opportunities. Duncan had almost the maximum angle to shoot to the far corner, and also the most suitable stride and feel. Whoosh! The football sailed past Barthez's outstretched fingers and nestled into the far post, splashing a small white wave across the net. But this ball, like a nuclear bomb, instantly set the Alvalade Stadium ablaze. A deafening roar erupted. Broadcasts began to shake violently. The commentators' voices were instantly drowned out. A cacophony of sounds swirled together, creating a deafening buzz that filled everyone's ears. For a moment, the world went deaf. All that remained was watching the number 10 boy on screen race towards the corner flag. He leaped high, spun in mid-air, and descended from the sky. Only then did the countless buzzing roars finally coalesce into a single, recognizable note, "Sui. Sui. Siu." On the stadium's big screen, the scoreboard changed. 2-2. The 93rd minute. Assist by Reina. Goal scored by Deng Kai. Goal. Duncan. Duncan has stepped up. A last-minute winner. This is absolutely a last-minute winner. 2-2. Sporting Lisbon launches a super counter-attack. Duncan takes on three opponents, carving a bloody path through Varane, Gary, and Silvestre. His curling shot is like a sword piercing the heart of Manchester United. 2 goals in 2 minutes. Sporting Lisbon completes a super comeback in stoppage time. The aggregate score is 5-5, with Sporting Lisbon leading Manchester United by 3 away goals. Not only the Manchester United players, but even the Sporting Lisbon players are stunned. This goal is simply unbelievable. What are Manchester United's defense doing? They can't do anything against a god like Duncan. Ferguson is complaining. He thinks Gary's fall is related to Duncan. But the big screen tells us all the answer. Gary was kicked by Silvestre. Manchester United's assistant coach is also complaining. He thinks Sporting Lisbon's celebration is too long, but in fact, Sporting Lisbon hasn't even started celebrating yet. Manchester United are panicking. They initially thought the stoppage time was too long, but now they think it's too short. Give Manchester United another 10 minutes, and they might still be able to score and take the lead. But now they probably only have 1 minute left. In fact, stoppage time has already ended, but considering the 2 goals, Manchester United should get an extra minute. In the Premier League, this is often called Ferguson time. Until this time, can Manchester United use Ferguson time to save themselves? The director, understanding the language of the camera, frequently cut the camera to the faces of Duncan, Ferguson, Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, and Schmeichel and Matthäus on the Sporting Lisbon bench. Wang Jiangxiang accurately interpreted this scene. In the 1998-1999 season, Manchester United became the first team in the top 5 leagues to win the treble. In the Champions League, until the last minute of the match, Manchester United was still 2 goals down to Bayern Munich. When Manchester United were in despair, Duncan, who was invited by Ferguson to watch the game, cheered for Manchester United. urging Schmeichel to participate in corner kick attacks, letting Beckham take the corner kicks, and directing Solskjaer to wait in the penalty area. As a result, Manchester United scored 2 goals in 1 minute, successfully defeating Bayern and creating the Red Devils' miracle. Today, Duncan made history repeat itself. Before stoppage time, Sporting Lisbon was 2 goals down. But they scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, successfully defeating Manchester United. It's all so amazing. It's unbelievable. Perhaps this is fate. What goes around comes around. And in such a bizarre way, it was Manchester United players who prevented Manchester United players from stopping Duncan. Manchester United, with the help of Duncan, lifted the last Champions League trophy of the 20th century. So when Duncan wanted a Champions League title to end his Sporting Lisbon career on a high note, Manchester United had no choice but to grant his wish. Sporting Lisbon, rise up. Sporting Lisbon, create a miracle. On the field, under the intervention of the referee, Sporting Lisbon finally ended their celebration. But in reality, while the Sporting Lisbon players were celebrating loudly in a circle, Deng Kai inside the circle had already yelled himself hoarse, "Back up! Everyone back up!" No players left in the attacking third. No counter-attacks. Except for Ronaldo and Zidane, no one else will participate in counter-attacks. Drogba, Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo. As soon as the ball enters our half, you two go up there. Go all out, tackle them, don't give them time to think. Zidane, Evra. You need to expand your defensive range to support the central defense. Once Kaká and I get involved in pressing, you must be in position immediately. We can lose possession on the flanks, but we absolutely cannot lose possession in the middle. Font, Vidic. Cover up the space above the penalty area. Cover it up completely. Always let the first ball belong to us. You have this advantage, so you must do it. Reina. Don't come out, under no circumstances. You are only responsible for saves, leave the rest to us. At the same time, Gary, who is in extreme pain from the collision, was carried off the field by his teammates Varane and Silvestre without the team doctor entering the field. O'Shea came on as a substitute. Manchester United made a lightning-fast substitution. They had 1 minute left. In the 95th minute, an impatient Manchester United attempted a direct attack, but were intercepted by Evra. Beckham fouled Evra and received a yellow card. Sporting Lisbon slowly took a free kick from their own half, and after a brief observation in midfield, Duncan attempted a lob shot. Barthez scrambled back. He almost sealed Manchester United's fate. He caught the ball. But in reality, the shot was high and slow, wasting considerable time. Chapter 510. A pack of tigers devours a dragon. Never underestimate a young man's potential. Ibrahimovic rushed to stop Barthez from kicking off. Barthez bypassed Ibrahimovic and launched a long ball. Vidic burst out of the penalty area, overpowering Forlan to head the ball back into midfield. Blanco also burst out of the penalty area, heading the ball towards the right flank. Beckham outjumped Evra to win the first ball. He shoved Evra aside and charged towards the ball, preparing to cross. Bang! A foot shot out, blocking the shot and sending the ball flying directly out of bounds into the side stands. It was Ronaldo, tracking back. Whistle, whistle, whistle. The referee blew his whistle 3 times. The match ended. The match is over. It's over. Sporting Lisbon. It's Sporting Lisbon that's reached the Champions League final. They've crushed the Red Dynasty. Manchester United are out. Who could have predicted this result before the match? 2 minutes. Manchester United played a great game for 91 minutes, but Sporting Lisbon destroyed everything in just 2 minutes. Manchester United players lay on the grass. Gary on the bench cried like a child, even more heartbroken than Ronaldo in the 88th minute. Beckham sighed with his hands on his hips, a hint of confusion in his eyes. Giggs was panting heavily, Scholes looked up at the sky, and Van Nistelrooy on the bench covered his head with his jersey. After missing out on the league title, and being eliminated from the FA Cup and the League Cup, Manchester United are now out of the Champions League. They've done well on all fronts, but they're destined to end the season empty-handed. Ferguson watched the wildly celebrating Sporting Lisbon players, a sense of melancholy washing over him. Will he continue to insist on Manchester United's continental approach next season? In the stadium, the few remaining Manchester United fans, after their initial sadness, began to applaud. Sporting Lisbon fans also broke into applause, their celebrations complete. The applause was deafening. The Red Devils had been conquered. The first team was defeated by the second. The real body lost to its clone. The biggest dark horse in European football this year has emerged. Duncan, named man of the match, gave a media interview. Reporter, you've achieved an incredible victory. Congratulations. Deng Kai, thank you. It really is, we still can't believe it. Manchester United are very strong, they made us feel hopeless at one point. Reporter, Ronaldo cried in the 88th minute. Some people think he's too fragile. What do you think about that? Deng Kai, I think it's the self-discipline of a super striker. He took the responsibility for the team's inability to score on his own shoulders, but actually, Scholes and Giggs, who scored for Manchester United, aren't typical strikers. It's precisely this extreme self-discipline that has driven Ronaldo to score so many goals. There's number 17-year-old striker better than Ronaldo, never before, and never will be. I might be the best player in this match, but if you put both matches together, I think Ronaldo is the best player. His 3 goals at Old Trafford are the only reason we were able to advance on away goals. He's the best striker this season. The whole world. Reporter, can you talk about your last goal? It was incredible, it was the most spectacular solo run in this Champions League. Deng Kai, Reina's passing was superb. He understood what I needed and was able to deliver. He's always been underrated. Besides his saves, his footwork is incredibly helpful to the team. Something many people overlook when commenting on goalkeepers. In comparison, Barcelona is ahead in developing goalkeepers' footwork. We're so close to where we are thanks to Barcelona's willingness to sell Reina to us. Without Barcelona's help in reaching the Champions League semi-finals this year, we wouldn't have made it to the final. My approach to that last ball was inspired by Kaká. He likes to use his head, chest, abdomen, knees, anything to get ahead of the ball in advance as quickly as possible. Of course, that move was dangerous. I felt Silvestra's studs almost grazed my scalp. I have to thank Silvestra. It might not have been a great defensive choice for Manchester United. But for me, it might have saved my career. I believe Silvestra could have hurt me if he wanted to. His leg just needed to be a little straighter, but he didn't. Manchester United are great. Great not only when they win, but they're great when they lose too. Give Ferguson and the current Manchester United players some time, and Manchester United can return to the top of Europe. Duncan was good at saying nice things, especially in his attempt to justify Silvestra's actions. If he hadn't said that, Silvestra would likely have been subjected to online harassment from Manchester United fans, becoming a target for their anger. That would be so unfair. Reporter, so what's next? What are your goals? Deng Kai, I think teams that didn't reach the final aren't aiming for the title. We're looking forward to the final against Real Madrid. Reporter, do you think Ronaldo might join Manchester United? This has been the prevailing opinion since the last round. However, as far as we know, Real Madrid also seems interested in Ronaldo. Deng Kai, sorry, we won't discuss any of these topics until the entire season is over. But one thing I can say for sure is that Manchester United is closer to Ronaldo than Real Madrid. The reporter became excited. Why? Has Ronaldo and Manchester United already reached a transfer agreement privately? Deng Kai shook his head. Of course not. Because we beat Manchester United, but we haven't beaten Real Madrid yet. Reporter, is it possible that Ronaldo will never join Real Madrid? Deng Kai, we will give Real Madrid an equal opportunity. Reporter, you're really confident. Real Madrid has a higher probability of winning the Champions League this year than Manchester United. Deng Kai, every team we've eliminated along the way has a higher probability of winning than us. Kicker, super dark horse. Super last-minute winner. Manchester United repays the magical Eastern power they borrowed from Duncan 3 years ago. Build, 2 goals in 2 minutes. Sporting Lisbon defeats Manchester United 5-5 on aggregate. Advancing to the Champions League final. Record, the Champions League final, a derby belonging to Portugal. Sky Sports, Manchester United suffers a heartbreaking defeat. Sporting Lisbon stages a miraculous comeback, a Manchester United moment. The Times, alone repaid, Duncan turns the tide. A dummy pass and a shot, fooling the Manchester United defense and escaping the jaws of death. Manchester Evening News, the probability of Ronaldo joining Manchester United has greatly increased. Old Trafford needs this top scorer in Europe this year. The Sun, oh no. My original self has split into 2. Sporting Lisbon uses Eastern secret techniques to devour Manchester United's luck for a season in order to compete for the Champions League. Manchester United agrees to the deal, exchanging 4 trophies for Ronaldo's arrival. Manchester United official, hopefully Sporting Lisbon can lift the St. Borealis Cup with our share. It all makes sense. After the Sun's report, everything makes sense. Manchester United fans were relieved. No wonder Sir Alex Ferguson insisted on a continental-style tactic this season. He deliberately didn't want to win the Premier League, deliberately went trophyless. This was a strategic formation, called a pack of tigers devouring a dragon. Correspondingly, Sporting Lisbon also adopted a similar formation, echoing Manchester United's, called Never Underestimate the Young. Chapter 511. The Portuguese League's 2 giants meet in the final. However, the surprises the Portuguese League has brought to the world of football this year don't stop there. Just one day after Sporting Lisbon reached the Champions League final, another Portuguese powerhouse, Porto, also achieved a victory. Mourinho led Deco and Jardel to defeat Bundesliga giants Borussia Dortmund, advancing to the UEFA Cup final. Thomas Rosicky, Jan Koller, Marcio Amoroso, Torsten Frings, and others shed tears on the field. These players are now or will become legends, making this a truly impressive achievement. This Dortmund team has played aggressively this year and is currently fiercely competing with Bayer Leverkusen for the Bundesliga title. Meanwhile, the once fierce Bayern Munich is now only 3rd in the league. However, Bayern's previous run to the Champions League semifinals has somewhat salvaged their season. But everyone knows that this aging Bayern team has reached a point where a complete overhaul is necessary. This is also the first time in history that a Portuguese team has reached the UEFA Cup final for 2 consecutive years. For a moment, people couldn't help but recall Mourinho's bold pronouncements at the beginning of the season. At the start of the season, Porto, who had defeated Sporting Lisbon, declared that the treble and quadruple winning seasons had ended. Mourinho even dismissed Sporting Lisbon's performance in the UEFA Cup last season, stating that if Porto had played in the UEFA Cup, they would have won. This statement sounded more like boasting, given that Porto plays in the Champions League every year, while Sporting Lisbon had failed to qualify for the Champions League in previous seasons. However, this season, Porto went from being eliminated from the Champions League to reaching the UEFA Cup, and incredibly, they actually made it all the way to the final. This seemed a bit too much like a promise kept. Of course, the media wasn't particularly optimistic about Porto's chances in the final. Bild believed that Porto's opponent in the final, Feyenoord, was better this year. Although Feyenoord couldn't dethrone Ajax from their top spot on the Eredivisie, their players had truly shown this year. Young striker Robin van Persie was particularly noteworthy and, unsurprisingly, will become another formidable striker. Players like Shinji Ono, Thomason, and Van Hooydonk also delivered star-level performances. In contrast, apart from Deco and Jardel, Porto's other players were not particularly outstanding. In fact, Dortmund was more competitive than Porto. Porto's victory over Dortmund, like Sporting Lisbon's victory over Manchester United, was unexpected. It's rare for a dark horse to remain a dark horse forever. It's also rare for 2 dark horses to remain dark horses simultaneously. However, Donkey Udi, a sports website, doesn't think so. Jang Yuns, who published an in-depth analysis, focusing on the comeback stories of the 2 Portuguese giants. Porto and Sporting Lisbon have 2 completely different styles of play. Porto has perfected the counter-attacking style, and they use defense to reach the UEFA Cup final. Most of their matches ended 1-0, 0-0, 1-1, or 1-2. Sporting Lisbon, on the other hand, uses a rare style of play, fully showcasing their attacking talent. Almost every player contributed to the attack. They don't have a world-class defense, but they have a world-class attack. They used attack to reach the Champions League final. It's hard to imagine that a second-tier league like the Portuguese Primeira Liga could have teams with both of these extreme styles. I'm starting to feel sorry for the other teams in the Primeira Liga. Facing one formidable opponent isn't difficult, but facing 2. CCTV anchor Wang Jiangxiang also registered and verified his account on Donkey Udi, agreeing with Jang Yuns, whose viewpoint, the match between Feyenoord and Porto is a battle of contradictions. Whether Feyenoord can score is the key to this match. Young Van Persie has done very well, but he's clearly still some distance from last season's Ronaldo. Ronaldo himself was very satisfied with this report. If he remembers correctly, when he and Deng Kai faced Van Persie in the UEFA Youth League, They were nobodies, while Van Persie was already a prodigy. The same situation applies to players like Robben, Van der Vaart, and Sneijder. And most of these players were born around 1983, 2 years older than Ronaldo and Deng Kai. The thought that he, once considered unremarkable, has become the object of pursuit for these former stars makes Ronaldo feel very satisfied. Wang Jiangxiang, of course, in the Real Madrid vs Sporting Lisbon final, I think the more crucial players were Zidane and Deng Kai. Whoever controls the midfield controls the game. With the support of players like Kaká, Ronaldinho, and Drogba, Deng Kai already possesses the ability to compete with world-class midfielders. But Zidane is different. Zidane is the world's best midfielder. Some might wonder why I didn't mention Ronaldo. That's because Ronaldo provides almost no support in midfield. He can't help Deng Kai. He can only seize every opportunity Deng Kai assigns him. In fact, just like the relationship between Ronaldo and Van Persie, Deng Kai and Ronaldo were initially vastly different. Deng Kai was far less dazzling than Ronaldo at that time. But 3 years later, Deng Kai has become the leader of Sporting Lisbon. When people evaluate Ronaldo and Deng Kai, they actually put Deng Kai before Ronaldo. This shows how much progress Deng Kai has made. He truly deserves to be called a pride of the Chinese people. Damn. Ronaldo unfollowed Wang Jiangxiang. Another Deng Kai fanboy. Wait a minute. Cristiano Ronaldo found an account on Deng Kai, a Chinese sports betting platform, called Kai Liaoba, that made some very insightful comments. Kai Liaoba, Deng Kai's quick passing is indeed impressive, but that's only against average midfielders. Many fans who don't understand football techniques might be easily fooled by Deng Kai's technical moves. Actually, football techniques are like basketball techniques. The effect varies drastically depending on the opponent. Some players who are incredibly strong against ordinary players become complete failures against professional players. Speed, range of motion, core strength, intensity of contact, the opponent's vision, etc., all affect a player's performance. So some players aren't as bad as they seem, like the Chinese national team. And some players aren't as formidable as they seem, like Deng Kai. He will be facing the world's best midfielders, the most dazzling lineup in the world. To be honest, the most threatening player for Sporting Lisbon is actually Cristiano Ronaldo with his explosive goal-scoring ability. 2 consecutive seasons with 30-plus league goals, that's no joke. Ronaldo liked Kai Liaoba's post. He thought this person really understood football. Similarly, Huey was thrilled by the like his comment received. In this hostile environment where everyone in mainland China was praising Kai, he had finally found a like-minded ally. Chapter 512 Crescent Moon Blade, European Golden Boot. Ling. You have obtained the Star Drop Flowing Blonde, Crescent Moon Knife. Flowing Blonde, Crescent Moon Knife. Beckham's Crescent Moon Knife may not be the strongest free kick in football. Or rather, the strongest free kick varies depending on the situation. But the most well-known free kick is definitely Beckham's Crescent Moon Knife. Your free kick skills have greatly improved. You can easily kick a banana kick and have a certain probability of kicking a Crescent Moon Knife. Beckham is straightforward. Just as straightforward as Bergkamp. Our Premier League players are indeed bold. Unlike some Bundesliga players who, after losing by 7 goals, don't utter a word. Ballack. Zé Roberto, holy crap. May 3rd, the final round of the Portuguese League. Sporting Lisbon, having already secured the title, continued to field a reserve lineup, allowing the first-team players to prepare for the Portuguese Cup final. Yu Shihao, Hao Jinmin, Xiao Jiaoyi, Chen Tao, and other players were given starting opportunities. What excited Chinese fans even more was that Wu Zedong wasn't on the roster for this match. He received the same treatment as Deng Kai and Cristiano Ronaldo. With Macon injured, Wu Zedong has a very high probability of playing in the Portuguese Cup final, or even the Champions League final. The Champions League final. Who in China would have believed that before? The young players really lived up to expectations. Under pressure from Neymar, they narrowly won 1-0 thanks to a header from centre-back Xiao Jiaoyi. Perhaps beating Neymar isn't a particularly outstanding achievement, but don't forget, this is a team primarily composed of Sporting Lisbon's youth academy players. A youth team defeating the first team. This once again proves the strength of Sporting Lisbon's youth academy. With the conclusion of the Portuguese League season, the various awards have been announced. Sporting Lisbon achieved a back-to-back Portuguese League title. Cristiano Ronaldo won the Portuguese League Golden Boot. He scored 32 goals this season, 2 more than last season. Considering that Borussia Dortmund's Amoruso only scored 18 goals in the Bundesliga. Paulita of Bordeaux and Cissé of Auxerre both scored 22 goals in Ligue 1. Tristan of Deportivo La Coruña scored 21 goals in La Liga. Henry of Arsenal scored 23 goals in the Premier League. Trezeguet of Juventus scored 23 goals in Serie A. Cristiano Ronaldo has almost secured the European Golden Boot this season. The 17-year-old European Golden Boot winner. Ronaldo's talent in scoring goals is gradually being recognized, but his growth doesn't stop there. In terms of assists, Ronaldo has made a breakthrough, increasing his assist numbers by 33.3%. He had 3 assists last year, and this year he has 4. Jardel, the Portuguese League's Silver Boot winner. Jardel only scored 25 goals this season. This is his fewest goal since joining the Portuguese League, and the second fewest in his career. But Porto's performance this season is significantly better than last year, especially in European competitions. Jardel's decrease in goals is not due to a decline in ability, but rather to the tactics of the team's manager, Mourinho. Taking over the team midway through last season, Mourinho was unable to make large-scale tactical adjustments. This season, however, he completely reshaped the team's offensive and defensive systems, achieving the ultimate in defense. This ultimate defense inevitably sacrifices attacking opportunities. Jardel's goal-scoring chances are far fewer than before, but his goals have become more valuable. Even the Brazilian national team, which previously dismissed him, is now seriously considering whether to call him up. Despite having Ronaldo, they definitely need a striker with a different style to enrich their tactical diversity. Surprisingly, this season's Portuguese League Bronze Boot winner is none other than Sporting Lisbon's midfield maestro, who has scored 23 goals, Deng Kai. This season, with the help of Kaká and Ronaldinho, Deng Kai has been firing on all cylinders. Kaká and Ronaldinho's ability to draw defenders is a level above Viana and Quaresma, giving Deng Kai relatively easy shooting opportunities. As for assists, Deng Kai undoubtedly retained his title as the Portuguese League's assist leader with 20 assists. His assist count is 1 less than last season. Deco remains second on the assist charts, missing out on the top assist provider title for the second consecutive season, trailing behind Deng Kai. Third on the assist charts is Kaká, a new signing this year. With 12 goals and 15 assists, Kaká's statistics are impressive. However, fans don't seem to have a deep impression of him. This is because Kaká's main methods of obtaining assists are lateral and back passes to Deng Kai, through balls, or diagonal passes to Ronaldo. This seems too easy, making it difficult to assess his true talent. In fact, Deng Kai knows that Kaká hasn't been playing entirely comfortably this season. His preferred style of play isn't well received at Sporting Lisbon. He can do more. But those things are currently being done by Deng Kai, Ronaldo, and Ronaldinho. Speaking of Ronaldinho, his 16 goals and 9 assists have earned him the title of Sporting Lisbon's third force. Ronaldinho's flashy skills have made people quickly forget Quaresma. Based on these statistics and the team's performance, Ronaldo has won the Portuguese League's top scorer award for the second time. If last year's award was partly due to the Portuguese League deliberately suppressing Jardel, then this year he truly earned the trophy through his own ability. Deco once again unfortunately won the Portuguese League's Best Midfielder award, meaning he missed out on the Best Player award. Duncan won the Portuguese League's Best Player award for the second consecutive year. Meanwhile, Sporting Lisbon's Serbian giant Vidic, signed this year, won the Portuguese League's Best Defender award. His defensive prowess is impressive. In addition to his defensive skills, he also scored 5 goals in the Portuguese League this season, making him the highest scoring defender in the league, excluding penalties. Schmeichel won the Portuguese League's Best Goalkeeper award for the second consecutive year. In fact, this season, Schmeichel's form and number of starts are not as good as last season. But the problem is, Sporting Lisbon's attack has overwhelmed the goalkeepers of all other Portuguese teams. Otherwise, this Best Goalkeeper award wouldn't have gone to Schmeichel. Regarding the Portuguese League's Best Zai, in the forward position, Cristiano Ronaldo, Drogba, and Jardel were all selected. In midfield, 5 players were selected: Duncan, Deco, Ronaldinho, Kaká, and Guardiola. In defense, 2 were selected, Vidic and Barzagli. Schmeichel was selected in goal. This is a rare 2-5-3 formation, almost making one think the Portuguese League had made a mistake. Sporting Lisbon had 9 players selected, a record in Portuguese League history. Similarly, Only players from Sporting Lisbon and Porto were included in the best XI, another miracle in the Portuguese league's best XI. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 513 Arsenal's four good players. Wu Zidane, Maxi's last plan disrupts Real Madrid. This is enough to prove the strength of these two teams this season. If it weren't for European competitions, the gap between them and the teams behind them would be even greater. For a time, the original three-way rivalry seemed to be turning into a two-horse race. Benfica is in a rather awkward position. They were supposed to secretly grow old, but instead they went for a hair treatment. How ridiculous. In addition, Sporting Lisbon's Ibrahimovic and Wu Zidane have also shone brightly this season. Ibrahimovic has 8 goals and 6 assists, ranking third in efficiency in the Portuguese league, only behind Deng Kai and Deco. Wu Zidane has 4 goals and 4 assists, achieving impressive statistics, and has performed well in key matches. Because 4 sounds like death in Chinese, some fans jokingly call Wu Zidane Twonglio Death God. This is easier to spread than the nickname Lisbon Genghis Khan. However, Deng Kai's comment that Wu Zidane is suitable for Arsenal is a bit confusing. How does he come up with the 4? But considering that Arsenal's fullbacks are all speedy wingers, people understand. Inspired by Deng Kai, Arsenal reportedly began to seriously consider signing Wu Zidane. On May 5, the Portuguese Cup final kicked off. This was the last high-level match played on Portuguese soil. The stadium was packed. In the 25th minute, Ronaldinho dribbled past his opponent and delivered a brilliant cross. Drogba pulled back at the near post, and Ronaldo headed the ball into the net 1-0. In the 32nd minute, Deng Kai moved to the wing and passed to Drogba, who passed back to Kaká, who unleashed a long-range shot to extend the lead 2-0. In the 71st minute of the second half, Porto launched a counter-attack. Deco delivered a through ball, and Jardel fired a powerful shot into the net, pulling one back. But just 2 minutes later, Deng Kai lobbed a pass to substitute Ibrahimovic, who scored, making it 3-1. Porto's fate was sealed. Mourinho pounded his chest on the bench, deeply disappointed. He clearly realized that Porto was no match for the Sporting Lisbon team this season. The hardships they had suffered in the league could not be overcome in the cup competition. Perhaps at the beginning of the season, the two teams were on the same level. But at this moment, the UEFA Cup finalist is indeed far inferior to the Champions League finalist. However, no one could have predicted that a dramatic scene would unfold in the final moments of this seemingly settled match. In the 84th minute, Jardel received a red card for a flying kick on Reina as he rushed out of the box. Jardel was sent off. Reina was in considerable pain on the ground, and an initial diagnosis by the team doctor suggested a possible fracture. Reina was subsequently taken to the hospital for further diagnosis. He had 3 ribs broken by Jardel, meaning he would miss the rest of the season and even the early part of next season. Sporting Lisbon was furious as a result. The team's usually mild-mannered Mr. Trigura, unusually, erupted in anger in front of the media. This isn't football, this is murder. Jardel wanted to murder Reina. Because Reina saved his one-on-one chance. Maxa further revealed the truth. There were rumors that Real Madrid wasn't satisfied with their current attacking lineup and were interested in signing a powerful center-forward, with a Brazilian player on their shortlist. Now it seems this rumor was deliberately sent to Jardel. What is this? Jardel's pledge of allegiance? Of course, Real Madrid players don't need to resort to such methods, they have the confidence and ability. But we all know the club is huge, and I want to know if Florentino knew about this. I want everyone to pay attention to Real Madrid's recent personnel changes. I need to see someone in Real Madrid's management held accountable, because I absolutely do not believe this is all just a coincidence. Also, I regret to inform Jardel that Real Madrid is indeed interested in a Brazilian striker, but it definitely can't be you. Of course, Maxa, after saying these words, didn't actually know what these comments would cause. But he only needed to do what Kai Xiao had instructed him to do perfectly. One stone stirs up 1,000 waves. Reina's injury has further compounded Sporting Lisbon's already precarious situation. As mentioned before, Schmeichel's form this season is slightly worse than last season. He had recovered from his injury but didn't play in the series against Manchester United. Part of this was due to his affection for the club. But more importantly, Reina's form had completely surpassed Schmeichel's at that time, and playing Reina was purely based on his competitive ability. This shows how important Reina is to Sporting Lisbon. A good goalkeeper doesn't necessarily guarantee success, but a poor one will definitely cause problems. In Portugal's victory in the 2016 European Championship Series, goalkeeper Patricio performed exceptionally well. However, in the 2022 Qatar World Cup, Portugal's starting goalkeeper Diogo Costa's performance was disastrous. His goal in Portugal's elimination match even looked somewhat childish. Saving the goals that should be saved makes a good goalkeeper, but only goalkeepers who can save spectacular goals can become truly top-class goalkeepers, because the goalkeeper position is different from other positions. Goalkeepers are defying the odds. Every top goalkeeper is even more defying the odds than a top striker. Reina has already reached a semi-defying level this season. Some are already comparing him to Real Madrid's Casillas. At least his performance this season is no less than Casillas. Because Casillas was relegated to the bench by second-choice goalkeeper Cesar Sanchez mid-season, and his playing time and performance weren't better than Reina's. However, Reina's injury is unavoidable. Sporting Lisbon's goalkeeper in the Champions League final can only be Schmeichel. Jardel faced unanimous resistance from Portuguese fans. This made him consider leaving the Portuguese league. The fans didn't like him, and the coach's tactics didn't suit him. Jardel couldn't find a reason to stay. But this directly raises another question: who exactly is Real Madrid's target Brazilian striker? People are discussing this. In fact, most believe Florentino's target is Ronaldo. Figo plus Zidane plus Raul, the three Ballon d'Or winners. There are also star players like Carlos, Yerwa, Macaulay, Guti, and Morines. And if Ronaldo joins the lineup, my goodness, what a magnificent squad that would be. It's a lineup that fans can't refuse. But for the managers, this lineup doesn't necessarily mean everything. They are more concerned about the immediate reaction after this news is released, because they believe it's a side tactic aimed at the Champions League final. Ferguson commented on Maxi's brilliant move: if Trigueira's coaching ability is like a master strategist, then Maxi's coaching ability must also include strategic planning and decisive victory from afar. The news he revealed will directly cause turmoil at Real Madrid. It's not important who Florentino wants to bring in, but why? Clearly, it's dissatisfaction with the current attacking line. Raul just won the Ballon d'Or, Florentino won't be unhappy. So, the person Florentino is unhappy with has surfaced. Morines, the Real Madrid number 9, seems to be relegated to the bench. You're counting on someone else to play in the final, yet you're thinking of replacing them. Who can guarantee Morines' form then? Ferguson exposed the truth. Reporters flocked to Madrid. Soon, media outlets captured video of Morines complaining to friends at a dinner. Although the video was blurry, Morines' dissatisfaction was evident. He had been cheated on. He had been let down. Chapter 514 Coca-Cola endorsement, for the next can. Florentino Perez has raised the bar for Real Madrid fans. Now, the Melangers, Felixes, no longer value understated strikers like Morines. They want some hot shots. Either the best, the most expensive, or the most prolific goal scorer. Even the newly crowned European Golden Boot winner, Cristiano Ronaldo, seems to offer Real Madrid fans more social value than Morines. Real Madrid management has repeatedly denied these rumors, but the truth can't be hidden forever. Insiders reveal that Florentino Perez has huge ambitions. After signing Figo and Zidane, he's no longer interested in ordinary players. He's currently hesitating between strikers like Ronaldo, Henry, Trezeguet, Totti, and Del Piero. As for who he ultimately signs, it depends on who wins the World Cup. This has caused a stir in the world of football. Real Madrid, you really know how to buy. The initial impact was felt by Inter Milan president Moratti, who angrily denounced Florentino Perez. Ronaldo is not for sale at Inter Milan. Real Madrid should not even think about it, never. Similarly, Juventus coach Lippi stated, Piero and Trezeguet will not leave Turin. They will lift the Serie A trophy here. They are not going anywhere. Moratti and Lippi's anger was not without reason. Inter Milan is currently in a crucial period of their title race with Juventus. The news about Real Madrid has affected the form of both teams. The sports magazine Don Quixote dubbed this chaotic situation Maxa's last scheme disrupts Real Madrid. But Maxa himself said, "What does this have to do with me, Maxa? It's clearly I, Maxa, have a plan to manipulate three talented players." After winning 5 titles, Sporting Lisbon launches an attack on its second treble. You said the last treble was fake, but this time Sporting Lisbon will get a real one. Aiming for the Champions League. Harvesting the title. Sporting Lisbon swept 7 trophies in 2 seasons, 8 trophies. Sporting Lisbon's 2 core players, Deng Kai and Cristiano Ronaldo, won 8 trophies in the past 2 years, 8 trophies? In the past 4 years, Deng Kai has won 14 titles, and Cristiano Ronaldo 13. Both are born winners. Pepsi and Coca-Cola both want to sign Deng Kai and Cristiano Ronaldo. They've even come up with advertising slogans. For the next trophy, can, a crazy win for both team and individual. Deng Kai led the team to 3 consecutive Portuguese Cup titles and won the Portuguese Cup Best Player award for 3 consecutive years. Deng Kai led the team, with Deco, Jardel, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ibrahimovic, Wu Zidane, Reina, Font, Veloso, and other players selected for the Portuguese Cup Best Zai, the hardest European honor for a Chinese player. Wu Zidane became the first Chinese player to win a European football tournament's Best Zai. Sporting Lisbon fans never expected that Deng Kai would achieve a three-peat without them even realizing it. Moreover, he is the first player in history to win the Portuguese Cup Best Player award 3 times in a row. He has become the undisputed king of Portuguese domestic cup competitions. The signing offers from the 2 major clubs are real. However, their offers were too low, and Deng Kai rejected them outright. At this stage, it's not suitable for him and Ronaldo to sign any contracts, especially commercial ones. Because any price received now will seem like a bargain in a year or 2. A player's commercial value can only be fully realized after joining a top club. You have obtained the star drop, the glory of Portugal's golden generation, 4-5. The glory of Portugal's golden generation 4-5, as one of the most legendary goalkeepers in Portuguese football history, Bahia is the 11th European player to win all European football trophies. He is also among the top 10 players with the most world football titles. You have obtained the star drop Bahia's captain's armband. Collect all the glories to receive generous rewards. Bahia's captain's armband, you are the absolute leader of the team, with a significant influence on the entire team both on and off the field. When you are appointed team captain, outside of matches, your teammates' growth rate increases by 20%. During matches, the team's cohesion and stamina increase by 10%, 666. I can't believe the 4th one is Bahia. This is, if Portugal had another Bahia in the future, winning the World Cup would be a piece of cake. Look at the European Championship. Patricio, who was touted as Bahia's successor, won the title. Deng Kai counted on his fingers. Of the key members of Portugal's golden generation, only Rui Costa and Figo haven't faced him yet. This time, he'll face Figo in the Champions League final. Perhaps he can finally reunite them? Of course, that's assuming a win. If he loses, he'll likely receive no reward. Then he'll have to find a way to meet Rui Costa again. Afterwards, the major European leagues came to a close. In the Eredivisie, Ajax, boasting outstanding young stars like Robin, Van der Vaart, Sneijder, and Heitinga, won the domestic league and cup double. However, the most attractive Eredivisie team this year was Feyenoord, who qualified for the UEFA Cup. The most captivating Dutch starlet was Robin van Persie. In Ligue 1, Lyon finally lifted the trophy after nearly 50 years. Lens, Auxerre, and Paris Saint-Germain followed. What people didn't know was that they were about to begin a terrifying 7-peat in Ligue 1. The French Cup champions were Lorient, with 2 Lion teams dominating French football. In La Liga, Valencia has reached its peak. In the past 3 years, they've reached the Champions League final twice and the La Liga semifinals twice. This year, they finally won the La Liga title, a hard-won victory. It's worth noting how many players the Raja Blancas have lost to other clubs in recent years. This season, they even lost their star player, Mendieta, and the result, many say Mendieta's transfer to Lazio was a lose-lose deal. But actually, for Valencia, they might not have lost out. Sacrificing Mendieta for a La Liga title, probably over 80% of Valencia fans would click yes. Deportivo La Corona is second, and this is also a golden age for them, earning them the nickname Super Deportivo. Although they lack top honors besides their first La Liga title of the new century, their performances have been incredibly exciting. Real Madrid is third, but they won the Copa del Rey and reached the Champions League final, satisfying their fans. Barcelona, thanks to Quaresma's phenomenal performance in the final 3 crucial matches, successfully squeezed into 4th place and secured a Champions League qualification spot. Without Quaresma, many believe Barcelona would have been relegated to the UEFA Cup. This has led Barcelona fans, despite their complaints about Sporting Lisbon and Duncan, to acknowledge the talent produced by Sporting Lisbon. Chapter 515 with the major leagues concluded, is the strongest team in Portugal still a mystery? People are just like that, always eager to get their way. Now, rumors are circulating that Barcelona wants Ronaldinho to succeed Rivaldo. Sporting Lisbon has certainly issued a stern statement, he's not for sale. But if Barcelona were to offer a sky-high transfer fee, Sporting Lisbon wouldn't refuse. After all, Ronaldinho, having learned his lesson with Duncan, genuinely wants to be the team's core player. Otherwise, he'd wasted a year playing second fiddle to Duncan. In the Premier League, Blackburn Rovers won the EFL Cup. As a newly promoted team this year, winning a cup competition is quite remarkable. However, in England, the FA Cup carries more weight than the EFL Cup. And the FA Cup winner was Arsenal. Not only that, Arsenal also defeated Manchester United and Liverpool to win the Premier League title. Liverpool originally had a chance to compete with Arsenal for the Premier League title. They kept the suspense until the final round. Their Portuguese defensive starlet, Gilip, on loan from Ajax, performed brilliantly, at one point holding up the team's defense. However, Simeo, whom Liverpool had acquired from Barcelona and who would have been a formidable asset, was injured in training. Liverpool, unsurprisingly, faltered and failed to capitalize on their opportunity. Manchester United finished third. This year's English champions have a history with Manchester United. In the 1994-1995 season, Blackburn Rovers won the Premier League, shattering Manchester United's dream of a three-peat. In the 1997-1998 season, Arsenal won the Premier League, breaking Manchester United's three-peat dream. Now, Arsenal has once again ended Manchester United's three-peat. It's undeniable that they are arch-rivals. Finally, in Serie A, Parma avenged Juventus's poaching of Buffon and Thuram in the Italian Cup, successfully defeating Juventus to win the Italian Cup. In the league, Serie A was arguably the most exciting. The former Viola Fiorentina were relegated early, a regrettable outcome. Inter Milan, Juventus, and Roma all have a chance to win the title. Meanwhile, AC Milan, Bologna, Chievo, and Lazio were all locked in a fierce battle for the final Champions League qualifying spot. In the final round, Inter Milan faced Lazio directly. Originally, Lazio's Poborski was expected to dominate Inter Milan's flanks, causing Ronaldo to shed tears of regret after missing out on the Serie A title. However, this time, Inter Milan, having acquired Viana, didn't give coach Cooper a chance to make a mistake. Despite Cooper placing the legendary Gresco at full-back, a move that had led to the team missing the title in the final round for 2 consecutive years, this should have been the third. His abilities were suited to playing as a winger, not a full-back. Coupled with Cooper's unconventional fast-lane formation of Recoba and Gresco, which Poborski easily exploited, Viana promptly corrected Cooper's error in the locker room. Because Dunca frequently advised Trigura and Maximo on tactical changes before, after, and at halftime, Viana had absorbed some of the advice. As a result, Viana's suggestion was endorsed by a series of players including Ronaldo, Vieri, Zanetti, and Seedorf. Ultimately, Cooper had to drop Recoba and replace him with a defensive midfielder. This move successfully stifled Poborski's performance, securing the Serie A title. After the match, Ronaldo and Vieri were moved to tears. Inter Milan, who hadn't won the title since 1988-1989, finally returned to the top of Serie A, living up to their reputation as a Serie A powerhouse. Moratti rushed onto the pitch and embraced Viana with a passionate kiss. Moratti was fully aware of everything that had happened in the locker room. He immediately promised the Inter players that next season he would bring in a coach who better suited their expectations. Based on his description, he almost mentioned Maxija. Juventus thus finished second in the league, Roma third, and AC Milan secured 4th place, just in time for Serie A Chievo 5th and Lazio 6th. At this point, only 2 matches remained in the entire European competition. May 9th. The UEFA Cup final officially kicked off. Feyenoord's young striker Robin van Persie immediately posed a threat, delivering a commendable performance. Feyenoord, supported by van Persie, scored 2 goals. Keep in mind, This was Porto, a top-tier defensive team. However, Deco carried the entire match. 2 assists and a goal earned him the Man of the Match award, helping his team defeat Feyenoord 3-2 and ascend to the pinnacle of European competition. Porto's star striker, Jardel, also shone brightly, scoring twice. Suddenly, people exclaimed that even the second-tier leagues could have their day. In the subsequent press interview, the special one, Mourinho, stole the show. He became the first manager to predict his team would win the UEFA Cup at the start of the season. Although his exact words were, "If we were playing in the UEFA Cup, we could win it too." Reporter, Mourinho, you've taken Porto from an ordinary European competition team to the top of European competitions, making them the best team in Portugal. What's your secret? We noticed you used to work as a translator in Barcelona. Mourinho shook his head. I did work in Barcelona for a while, but it wasn't pleasant, and I don't want people to talk about it too much. Also, I have to correct you, Porto is the best team in this year's UEFA Cup, and one of the best teams in European competitions. But we are not the best team in Portugal, at least not this year. Even so, our management, fans, players, and even myself will feel very bad. But we have to accept this fact. Only by recognizing the gap can we strive to catch up and make up for it. This year, the best team in Portugal is Sporting Lisbon. Of course, I also hope they are the best team in all of Europe this year. That way, clubs all over Europe will know what we've really gone through this year. Mourinho's comments put Sporting Lisbon in the spotlight. The UEFA Cup champion said Sporting Lisbon is stronger and hoped they would beat Real Madrid. This. Is the Portuguese league planning to sweep all the European trophies this year? This is insane. Build, the Portuguese league is on fire. Porto takes the lead, can Sporting Lisbon rise again? Kicker, Mourinho, we are one of the best teams in Europe, but not the best team in Portugal. Sky Sports, Deco, Portugal's best midfielder, K is underrated by everyone, he is an incredible player. In my eyes, he is Zidane. The Times, Sporting Lisbon doesn't have a top striker, but they have a top midfield, and they can do better in creating chances. Chapter 516 The King of Valladolid, worth €100,000. The Manchester Evening News, Jardel believes he can coexist with Ronaldo and expresses interest in the Premier League. As the saying goes, winning first doesn't guarantee victory, and losing first doesn't necessarily mean defeat. Porto has been under immense pressure this year, constantly dominated by Sporting Lisbon. Sporting Lisbon's performance in European competitions has also been superior. But now, everything has reversed. If Sporting Lisbon loses in the Champions League final, people won't consider them particularly successful. At least, people won't feel that Porto has been completely overshadowed by Sporting Lisbon this year. The UEFA Cup title carries even more weight than Portugal's domestic double. The pressure is on Sporting Lisbon. Subsequently, news about the Champions League final began to flood social media. Hampden Park Stadium in Scotland completes temporary expansion, can accommodate 80,000 fans. Hampden Park Stadium is the home ground of the Scottish national team and the amateur team Queen's Park Rangers. Its maximum capacity is 50,000. But this year's Champions League final has too much appeal. Real Madrid, led by 3 Ballon d'Or winners, Zidane, Figo, and Raul. Sporting Lisbon, the European 5-time champions, is aiming for a true treble, staging an ultimate showdown between a dark horse and a powerhouse. With only 50,000 tickets available, who will be able to attend? Therefore, temporary expansion work has begun at the stadium. However, a piece of news quickly went viral. It was published by Real Madrid's mouthpiece, Marca. Shocking. Duncan refuses to renew his contract, theoretically still a free agent. Other teams only need to pay Sporting Lisbon a maximum of €100,000 to take away the King of Valladolid. Manchester Evening News, Ferguson is willing to offer Deng Kai a top salary to join the team. Sky Sports, Arsenal and Liverpool both want Deng Kai, and Deng Kai can name his terms. Aleco, the opportunity for Leverkusen to keep Ballack and Zé Roberto has appeared. By Deng Kai, and they will form the strongest midfield in Europe. Bild, Bayern Munich is willing to offer Deng Kai a top salary and promise him a starting position. Kicker, Borussia Dortmund plans to offer Deng Kai a super contract that exceeds the current Bundesliga top salary by 30%. La Repubblica, Lippi personally stated that he hopes Deng Kai will join Juventus. A player like Deng Kai should play in Serie A. Tuttosport, after joining Juventus, Deng Kai can receive the same treatment as Nedved. Corriere dello Sport, if Deng Kai joins Roma, Batistuta and Totti will definitely not leave. La Gazzetta dello Sport, Moratti is willing to offer Deng Kai a top Serie A salary. AC Milan guarantees Deng Kai's central midfield position, and to show their sincerity, they might even sell Pirlo ahead of schedule. Crazy. Sporting Lisbon fans are going crazy. Instigated by malicious individuals, fans gathered outside the club, demanding an explanation. Because Deng Kai really only has an apprentice contract, and can really be acquired for just €100,000. Look at those clubs that expressed willingness to take Deng Kai, how ugly their faces are. Before this news broke, apart from Manchester United fans welcoming Deng Kai, most other teams didn't have high hopes for him. While Deng Kai's statistics are undoubtedly phenomenal across Europe, can he really adapt to the competitive environment and pace of the top 5 leagues? That remains a question mark. Especially with the recent disappointments of super midfielders like Mendieta and Varane, the label of genius midfielder is already discounted. But, a Deng Kai costing €40 to €50 million is flashy but impractical, old-fashioned. A Deng Kai costing €100,000 is mature, stable, and incredibly desirable. This has made fans less focused on the Champions League final. After all, Sporting Lisbon's chances of winning the final are indeed slim. But as long as Deng Kai is there, if not this year, then next year. If not next year, then the year after. Fans can even wait 10 or 15 years for Deng Kai. Hope is more important than anything else. However, German football legend Franz Beckenbauer, when invited to comment on the incident, said, Sporting Lisbon's player management department was absolutely terrible. They failed to secure such an important player beforehand. I repeatedly emphasized to Bayern that player contracts and salaries need strict control. This is the core of a team's fighting strength. Look at Sporting Lisbon right now. If they had a 30% chance of beating Real Madrid before, it has now dropped to less than 10%. Maxi used underhanded tactics to attack Real Madrid, which provoked a counterattack. Real Madrid has a strong ability to withstand such underhanded tactics, but smaller teams don't. Therefore, smaller teams shouldn't easily provoke big clubs. There's a reason why big clubs are big clubs. It's not just about the power people see. Deng Kai is a player who knows how to leverage media attention. His crisis management has always been excellent. But this time, he's encountered huge trouble. If he wants to remain a free agent, the team will suffer a fatal blow. If he wants to boost morale, he must sell himself to Sporting Lisbon. But even in the latter case, the chaos Real Madrid has caused them is already irreparable. After all, knowing beforehand that Deng Kai might leave is completely different from him leaving with only €100,000. Sporting Lisbon fans will find the latter situation hard to accept. The King of Alvalade could very well face fan backlash. No one can ignore this kind of interference. At this moment, the whole world was watching Sporting Lisbon and Deng Kai's social media. Donkey, a popular sports betting platform, was naturally also a focus of attention. Sure enough, Donkey published some news. Donkey, Real Madrid hopes to buy Deng Kai and build a younger Galacticos team around him. Of the current Real Madrid players, only Casillas and Raúl can stay because they are young enough. But to get Deng Kai to join, Real Madrid would have to sign Ronaldo as well, because both of their agents are Ronaldo's brother, Hugo. Even better, Real Madrid would be better off signing Ronaldinho, Kaká, Drogba, and a series of other players. Chinese people have always valued loyalty, so it's not impossible for Deng Kai to make such a request to Real Madrid. You're saying my player wants to split up, right? You're making the whole world covet my players and trying to demoralize my team, right? Fine, then you can join us too. Chapter 517 The greatest player in team history. This counterattack from Donkey, a Chinese sports website, caused Real Madrid, already affected, to waver again. Some fans actually suggested buying players like Duncan, Ronaldo, and Ronaldinho. What about Real Madrid's aging superstars? But Florentino Perez quickly resolved this minor issue, even further solidifying Real Madrid's image. Perez stated, of course, Real Madrid welcomes all the world's top players, but the prerequisite is that you have to be top tier. And Real Madrid's players are not afraid of any challenge, because they are already top tier players. So it's not just Duncan or Ronaldo, any top player from any team has a chance to join Real Madrid. Perez's powerful statement immediately calmed things down within Real Madrid. What? You're afraid of being replaced? That means you're not strong enough. That's your problem, not Real Madrid's. If you want to stay, prove yourself with your performance in the final. Pretty impressive, right? This top-tier psychological manipulation even boosted Real Madrid's fighting spirit in a short time. So, the question now falls on Sporting Lisbon. What about their Duncan? Finally, 3 days before the European final, Sporting Lisbon officially responded. The club president appeared at the press conference, with Tragura beside him. Many people won't believe what we're saying now, so we didn't intend to say too much. But we must give our fans an explanation. You hold a special place in our hearts. Here, I can say with certainty that regardless of Sporting Lisbon's performance this season, Duncan is one of the greatest players in the club's history. We support all of Duncan's decisions, and we know he needs to showcase his greatness on a bigger stage. Therefore, I announce that Sporting Lisbon will terminate Duncan's youth academy contract after the Champions League final. £100,000 is an insult to Duncan. We will let him go to his next destination as a free agent. This is Sporting Lisbon's attitude towards great players. We will never restrict our players, especially talented ones. Sporting Lisbon will be the best place in Europe for talented players to grow, bar none. A murmur rippled through the reporters. Duncan, one of Sporting Lisbon's greatest players? Is it really now? He's only played for Sporting Lisbon for 2 years, and he's already considered great? Even Florentino Perez, watching on television, was stunned. What everyone wanted to see was a tug-of-war, a public falling out between the club and Deng Kai. The club was pressuring Deng Kai to sign a professional contract so they could sell him for a high price. Deng Kai wanted to be a free agent, but at the same time, he wanted to avoid being seen as a traitor by the fans. If that happened, Sporting Lisbon would be finished. But now, had Sporting Lisbon gone mad? Although their actions had made them a mecca for talented players worldwide, guaranteeing huge future profits, what about Deng Kai's transfer fee? That was real euros. 25 to 35 million euros was a given. That was Deng Kai's current market value. And this was in a year of economic downturn. 2 years ago, Deng Kai could have been sold for 50 million euros, if he could win the Champions League. Were the Sporting Lisbon management all merciful? Only 3 people in the world truly knew what was going on: Deng Kai, the Sporting Lisbon club president, and Tragura. The first 2 transactions involved a deal, with Tragura acting as the introducer for Deng Kai. Sporting Lisbon's transfer dealings over the past 2 years have largely been influenced by Deng Kai's opinions. This season, in particular, it was almost entirely orchestrated by him. Although the season isn't over yet, Sporting Lisbon has already received a flood of inquiries. More than 20 clubs are interested in acquiring their various players. If Sporting Lisbon's transfer market opens, they will set a revenue record in this window. Their profits could very well reach 100 million euros. In times of economic downturn, this amount of money is invaluable. This is something no other player can achieve. This is why Sporting Lisbon considers Deng Kai great. In fact, if it weren't for the historical significance of those legendary players, Sporting Lisbon could drop the one of now. Deng Kai deserves it. And in return, Sporting Lisbon needs to let the already free Deng Kai leave, in a harmonious manner. Great from the start. Deng Kai, after 2 years with Sporting Lisbon, is described as great by the club. Genius sanctuary. Sporting Lisbon is willing to let Deng Kai leave for free. This move is incredibly attractive to talented players, Europe's strongest springboard. Sporting Lisbon will inevitably become a hub for talented players. Their move is simply too shocking. Sporting Lisbon loses 30 million. Promises to terminate contract with Duncan after Champions League victory, not even 100,000. Sporting Lisbon becomes the most extravagant club in football in another way. Cristiano Ronaldo, the club made the right decision. Duncan deserves this treatment. Of course, I think the transfer fee is an affirmation of a player's status, and ordinary players should not imitate Duncan's behavior. Maxa, a high transfer fee is beneficial to players' status in a new team. Duncan's move shows confidence in his abilities. He has always been so confident. Florentino, Real Madrid has money, but Real Madrid isn't stupid. Real Madrid won't give players such privileges except for those with great achievements. Zidane, being a free agent means a higher salary when negotiating contracts. If I joined Real Madrid as a free agent, then, of course, I'm satisfied with my current salary. Unless I win the Champions League for Real Madrid, I won't ask for a raise. As a series of news stories unfolded, this media battle finally came to an end with the passage of time. May 15th, Hampton Park Stadium. The Champions League final is about to begin. Hello everyone, this is Wang Jiangxiang. Hello everyone, this is Ziwei. Han Kai-sheng has diarrhea again, so I'll fill in. Let me start with my conclusion. Congratulations to Real Madrid for lifting the Champions League trophy once again. As the players lined up to enter the field, Wang Jiangxiang began introducing the starting lineups. Sporting Lisbon fielded a standard lineup. It seems they intend to stick to the same strategy. Cristiano Ronaldo, Drogba, Kaká, Duncan, Ronaldinho, Matos, Guardiola, Pepe, Vidic, Barzagli, Schmeichel. Schmeichel's appearance is due to Rena's injury in the Portuguese Cup final, which is bad news for Sporting Lisbon. Real Madrid also used a standard lineup. Morines and Raúl formed the two strikers, with Raúl mostly playing behind Morines. In midfield, Real Madrid used a diamond formation. Zidane is the attacking midfielder, Makalil is the defensive midfielder, and Solari and Figo as the left and right wingers. Roberto Carlos, Hilgura, Yerwa, and Salgado form Real Madrid's defense. The goalkeeper is Cesar Sanchez. Sanchez joined Real Madrid last season intending to be Casillas' backup. However, the young Casillas has been in terrible form this season, so midway through the season, Sanchez relegated Casillas to the bench. Therefore, Real Madrid's bench is full of star players. Casillas, Guti, McManaman, Conceição, Pavone, Karanka. Alright, with the referee's whistle, this thrilling Champions League final has officially begun. We can see that the top executives from both clubs are present. In addition, there are some club scouts and national team coaches also present. This match is star-studded and will be a valuable reference for the upcoming World Cup matches. Chapter 518 Ball skills are contagious. Just 23 seconds into the game, Deng Kai unleashed a long-range shot, a show of force, testing Sanchez's abilities. And as it turned out, Real Madrid had no weak players. Sanchez calmly saved Deng Kai's long-range effort. In the 7th minute, Ronaldo, after a one-on-one with Salgado on the left wing, created a hard-fought shooting opportunity. But the ball was deflected by Salgado and weakly caught by Sanchez. Real Madrid then launched a quick counter-attack. Zidane dribbled down the wing, creating space before delivering a brilliant pass. Barzagli anticipated the pass and successfully blocked it. Once the ball reached them, Sporting Lisbon would be in danger. But Barzagli made a mistake. After blocking the pass, he was pulled away by Zidane. Carlos rushed forward, grabbed the ball, and threw it directly into Sporting Lisbon's penalty area. A grenade launch. Watch out! Deng Kai warned his teammates. But it was too late. Raúl surged past Matos, cutting inside the penalty area. Facing Vidic's cover, Raúl fired a first-time shot with his left foot. It was a top-notch play. Schmeichel, out of action for some time, couldn't react in time, letting the ball roll past his feet and into the net. In the 9th minute, Real Madrid broke the deadlock, taking a 1-0 lead over Sporting Lisbon. Goal. Raúl. This is the Lord of the Rings. This is our golden boy, Raúl, 1-0. Real Madrid's goal came too easily. Sporting Lisbon's defense crumbled before these top players. The camera focused on Deng Kai, the king of Alvalade. They tried to find a hint of disappointment on his face. But Deng Kai simply kept directing his teammates and communicating with Guardiola, Matos, Barzagli, and other players. Raúl's positioning was intelligent, he was actually running in Guardiola's position. Matos had top-notch awareness, but his body couldn't keep up, missing the best opportunity to defend Raúl. As for Guardiola, he wasn't exactly a first-rate defender, so making such a mistake was perfectly normal. Sporting Lisbon hadn't expected to keep a clean sheet against Real Madrid in this match. Like Real Madrid, their strength lies in attack. Today, Real Madrid earned the opportunity to wear their home kit, while Sporting Lisbon abandoned their white and green jerseys, donning an all-black away kit. It was a battle of black and white. The goal ignited the Real Madrid fans in the stadium, who began chanting the team anthem. Real Madrid players, in turn, continued their relentless attack, maintaining a high tempo and taking control of the game. In the 12th minute, Figo outmaneuvered his younger Portuguese teammate Pepe, leaving the young Pepe completely disoriented. Bang! Figo crossed the ball. Raúl's run disrupted Vidic. Morines successfully headed the ball, but it struck the post and bounced out, missing a goal. Real Madrid almost made it 2-0. In the 14th minute, Barzagli, Guardiola, and Deng Kai swarmed Real Madrid's left winger Solari. Deng Kai saw Solari's hesitation and decisively tackled him. Solari fell to the ground, and the ball came to Duncan's feet. Real Madrid players complained that Duncan had fouled. But Duncan turned and passed the ball to Ronaldinho ahead. The referee shook his head, indicating that the tackle was legal and not a foul. Ronaldinho dribbled the ball, cutting from the right flank to the center. He even used a somersault to chip the ball over his compatriot Carlos, who was indeed somewhat ineffective defensively. But the next moment, Makalé rushed in to challenge him. Ronaldinho pulled the ball away, dodging Makalé's challenge, but was brought down. The referee immediately blew his whistle and went to the area where the incident occurred to warn Makalé. Fortunately, the referee did not show a card. This is a free kick in a pretty good position. Sporting Lisbon will probably go for it directly. This team has Ronaldinho, Duncan, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Kaká all with good free kicks. Who will take it? Oh, Duncan's here. Ronaldinho passed a ball to him. From a team perspective, this arrangement is understandable. Facing a strong opponent, letting the team leader take the first shot is inspiring. But statistically, Ronaldinho might be more suitable. Because Duncan hasn't scored from his last 5 free kicks. His free kick scoring efficiency is lower than Ronaldinho's. Okay, Duncan is retreating. Real Madrid's wall is very tight. These top players have excellent awareness on both ends of the pitch. This might be the most expensive wall Duncan has ever faced. Zidane, Figo, Raul, Yara. In the stadium's VIP box. Florentino Perez smiled and said to the UEFA president, "They can't score. My wall is worth over 200 million. Even Beckham would be helpless." The Sporting Lisbon president asked, "What if Beckham breaks through this wall?" Florentino Perez shrugged, "Then buy Beckham too." The words had barely left his lips when, thud, Deng Kai kicked the ball. The instant he touched it, his body tilted dramatically. His arms spread out like wings. This movement was somewhat awkward. Few players take free kicks like this. The pressure on the ankles in that instant is immense, easily leading to injury. Among the world's renowned players, only one prefers to take free kicks this way. In an instant, Deng Kai in his black jersey and Beckham in his red jersey seemed to overlap. Yes. Beckham. Whoosh. The ball flew past Zidane's ear as he jumped, realizing something, turning his head and opening his eyes. A curved blade hung straight at the top corner of Real Madrid's goal. This goal. Deng Kai. Deng Kai scores directly from a free kick. 1-1. Sporting Lisbon has equalized in less than 5 minutes. Deng Kai's free kick technique has visibly improved. This goal is reminiscent of Beckham. So similar. From the way he takes the shot to the curve of the ball, it's a perfect Beckham curve, a crescent moon. As everyone knows, Beckham and Deng Kai have a good relationship. Beckham's wife, Victoria, often hangs out with Deng Kai's girlfriend, Hathaway, and rumored girlfriend, Kira. Deng Kai's free kicks might have been honed at these kinds of gatherings. Let's congratulate Deng Kai on becoming the youngest player to score against Real Madrid this century. At the stadium, the Real Madrid fans' chants abruptly stopped. Sporting Lisbon's anthem followed. Both sets of fans were vying for attention, neither willing to concede. This time, the camera focused on the expressions of Real Madrid goalkeeper Sanchez and substitute goalkeeper Casillas. It's easy to see from their expressions that there was nothing they could do about conceding the goal. They weren't regretful because they couldn't have done any better than they had. Chapter 519 Heavenly Realm or Flying Immortal. Don't give them free kicks, watch out for Ronaldinho's breakthroughs. Zidane communicated with Makalé, Yara, and others. They needed to be more effective defensively. Even if they had to give away free kicks, they should do it early, before the ball entered Duncan's shooting range. In the 27th minute, Raul received a pass from Zidane and delivered a brilliant backheel pass. However, Mourinho's shot was too straight and easily caught by Schmeichel. Florentino shook his head repeatedly. This was why he wanted to offload Mourinho. This centre-forward could do everything, except score goals. But Real Madrid only needed goals now. In the 33rd minute, Figo made several dribbling breakthroughs on the right wing, once again teaching Pepe a lesson, and then delivered a high-quality cross. However, Vidic held Raul firmly behind him, leaving the newly crowned Ballon d'Or winner Raul to watch helplessly as the ball flew out of bounds. Florentino also shook his head slightly. Impact. Besides goals, Real Madrid needed a highly impactful striker. In today's football world, There aren't many super strikers who possess both goal-scoring prowess and explosive power. Vieri is a bit too old, so he's half a striker. Shevchenko is somewhat mediocre, so he's half a striker too. Ronaldo is too young, inconsistent, and lacks fame, so he's only a small fraction of a striker. Jardel has no fame or commercial value, so he doesn't count. The French duo of Henry and Gatrig only count as one, and the French contingent being too dominant isn't a good thing either. If someone as intelligent as Zidane were to fully develop his skills, Florentino Perez would face difficulties. After considering all the factors, the answer is obvious. In the 40th minute, Ronaldo received a through ball from Duncan on the left flank. He didn't try to feint, because he found that Yera wouldn't fall for it. Bang! Ronaldo fired a long-range shot. Yera still didn't let Ronaldo off the hook, stretching out his foot to block the ball out of bounds. Corner kick. Duncan took the corner kick. Drogba shielded Ronaldo, and Ronaldo seized the opportunity to head the ball on at the near post. Ronaldinho leaped up outside the right side of the 6-yard box and volleyed. Clang. The ball hit the post and bounced out. Ronaldinho clutched his head, utterly disappointed. If it had gone in. This was Real Madrid. What a pity, such a pity. Ronaldinho's shot was such a shame. Of course, that shot was incredibly difficult, and Ronaldinho did a pretty good job. But against Real Madrid, you can't just do well, they're one of the best teams in the world. In the 45th minute, Real Madrid punished Sporting Lisbon for missing a goal. Carlos dribbled down the left flank. Facing Guardiola's pressing, Carlos passed the ball to Morines, who had almost dropped back to midfield. Is this a striker? Guardiola knew he was in trouble seeing Morines in that position and rushed towards him. At the same time, Matos tried to cover. But it was too late. Bang! Morines held off Guardiola and played a through ball. Carlos, continuing his forward run after the pass, received the ball on the wing. Barzagli and Carlos engaged in a fierce battle. Barzagli had the advantage in height and weight. But Carlos was faster, not giving Barzagli a chance to unleash his full power. Bang! Carlos used a brilliant lob to flick the incoming ball towards the center. Zidane, on the edge of the penalty area, spread his arms wide. His body twisted like a pretzel. Then, he volleyed the ball from the sky. His leg struck the ball like a whip. Swish! Schmeichel didn't even have time to react. The ball nestled into the top corner. It was a super world-class goal. Deng Kai knew something was wrong when he saw Zidane's move. Damn! A celestial strike. Is the inertia of history really that strong? Goal. Zidane. Zizou. A super world-class goal. This is the best long-range shot of the year. The best. 2-1. Real Madrid takes the lead again in the last minute of the first half. This is Zidane's value. This is the value of 78 million euros. Schmeichel had no chance to save this goal. Real Madrid. Real Madrid are the champions. In the end, the first half ended with Zidane's spectacular long-range strike. If Deng Kai's free kick had once shattered Real Madrid's pride, then Zidane's long-range strike had extinguished Sporting Lisbon's hopes. The old man is still the old man. During halftime, Messi was on fire. Beat them, and you might be playing at the Bernabeu next year. Run. Run like crazy. Run until you drop dead. Better to suffer for a while than for a lifetime. If you don't lose weight in May, you'll regret it in June. Called upon us, ready to fight, ready to win. It has to be said, Messi has certainly read a lot of college entrance exam slogans from various universities in China. They're really getting the vibe. Second half. Right from the start, Ronaldinho attempted a difficult dribble, inspired by these college entrance exam quotes. After switching positions with Kaká, he dribbled past two players, ultimately forcing Salgado to foul. Salgado received a yellow card. 50 minutes. Again, Ronaldinho, using a cowtail move to get past Carlos and deliver a cross from the byline. Drogba's header was too central and saved by Sanchez. 61st minute, Kaká's long-range shot went into the stands. Real Madrid made the first adjustments. Coach Vicente Del Bosque opted to replace Portuguese star Figo with a defensively stronger McManaman. Since Solari could also play in midfield, Real Madrid's formation appeared unchanged, but both wingers were effectively transformed into midfielders. Zidane also began dropping back, leaving Morines up front with Raúl as a second striker. Real Madrid's defensive capabilities improved further, indicating they were aiming to lock in the score. In the 71st minute, Morens delivered a spectacular long-range shot. Sporting Lisbon seized the opportunity to make substitutions, preparing for a final push. Ibrahimovic replaced Drogba, and Wu Zedong replaced Guardiola, then swapped positions with Pepe. Pepe played as a defensive midfielder, while Wu Zedong played as a left centre-back. However, considering Wu Zedong's playing style, he could also be considered a wing-back. In attack, Wu Zedong would push forward, Pepe would drop back, and Vidic would move to the left to give Pepe space. It seemed similar to before, but the positional changes disrupted Real Madrid's defensive and marking strategies. Sporting Lisbon has developed specific tactics for fullbacks like Wu Zedong and Macon, who possess exceptional attacking prowess, and practices these tactics regularly. This is a level of treatment that substitute players like Wu Zedong and Macon would never receive at other teams. In the 72nd minute, Wu Zedong, who had just come on, and Kaká exchanged passes, carrying the ball across the halfway line. It wasn't until Makalol came up to him that Kaká decisively passed a ball to Ronaldinho, who was calling for it on the other flank. This was something Deng Kai had emphasized before the match. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 520 The Hook, The Leap, The Impact. Don't be afraid of Real Madrid's defense, especially their midfielders and forwards. But don't try to challenge Makalol either. He's a ball-handling black hole. His tackling and interception abilities are extremely strong. Ronaldinho received the ball, before even looking up. 6-yard box. Pass. Deng Kai rushed past Ronaldinho. Bang. The ball rose before Ronaldinho's head. Ronaldinho completely trusted Deng Kai's instructions, and with his head down, he delivered a through ball over the top, relying on his knowledge of the field. Cristiano Ronaldo had already charged towards the ball's landing point. Yera immediately raised his hand to indicate that Ronaldo was offside. But the linesman didn't raise his flag. However, Hilgura quickly returned and blocked Ronaldo, not giving him a direct shooting opportunity. Bang! Ronaldo played along, jumping up early and heading the ball back into the penalty area. There, Ibrahimovic, making a run, had a chance to shoot. Oh dear. Ronaldo's header back was beautiful, but Ibrahimovic couldn't turn in time. What a pity, Ronaldo's passing rhythm has never been good. This pass was good, but he didn't consider whether his teammates could receive it. If it were Deng Kai, this pass would have been a perfect feed. Ronaldo? Ronaldo, you probably don't know how difficult it is to receive Deng Kai's passes, do you? Bang! The ball flew towards the goal. Everyone was stunned. Ibrahimovic kicked the ball? Bicycle kick. Beautiful. The Swede didn't turn, he directly executed a bicycle kick, completing the attack. So talented. His ball handling ability is too strong. Bang! Sanchez dived to save. Ibrahimovic's bicycle kick was indeed brilliant, making all the defenders a half-beat slower. But this bicycle kick lacked power, and the ball speed was relatively slow. Sanchez therefore had a chance to recover. He successfully knocked the ball away. But the next moment, a black flying fish appeared. Bang! The ball darted into Real Madrid's goal like a torpedo. A spectacular diving leap. It has an extra bonus for Spanish players. The next moment, the black flying fish flipped over and charged towards the corner flag. He ran, trying to take off his jersey. But halfway through, he remembered he might get a yellow card. So Deng Kai forcibly put the jersey back on, then leaped high into the air. At that moment, a god descended. The Sporting Lisbon fans joined Deng Kai in chanting, "Suuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuu unable to utter a sound. But they remembered that strange syllable. Sweet. A beautiful celebration, but unfortunately, not for Real Madrid. Deng Kai. My God. Deng Kai scores with a header on the rebound. A beautiful diving header. Sporting Lisbon's lightning-fast double strike. Ronaldo heads the ball back, Ibrahimovic performs a bicycle kick, and Deng Kai heads it in. This is a connection between geniuses. 2-2. Sporting Lisbon has equalized. Deng Kai completes his brace. He thus becomes the youngest player to score twice against Real Madrid. At the same time, He also becomes the youngest player to score and score twice in a Champions League final. So amazing. This is Real Madrid. Sporting Lisbon actually put up a good fight against Real Madrid. What lineup did Real Madrid have? What lineup did Sporting Lisbon have? How could this happen? Figo's expression on the bench isn't good. He thinks he was substituted too early. Of course. Figo can't complain. After all, the World Cup is coming soon, and even if Del Bosque substituted Zidane, Zidane would accept it. Oh. Sporting Lisbon's formation has changed. Pepe is back, he and Vidic form a double centre-back pairing, and Wu Zedong has become the true left-back. Deng Kai, who just scored, moved back to form a double pivot with Matheus. Ronaldo also dropped back, becoming a left winger. Sporting Lisbon is now in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Are they trying to drag the game into extra time? Yes. Sporting Lisbon wanted to stabilize the tempo. Dragging the game into extra time would be advantageous for them. Because Real Madrid's core players are all getting older, their stamina would be a problem in extra time. In the 76th minute, Pepe tackled Zidane from the side. The French star got up and shoved Pepe, yelling at him angrily. Judging from his red face and bulging neck, he was clearly furious. "What are you doing?" Deng Kai rushed to the scene immediately, bumping into Zidane and stopping Pepe from rushing up to confront him. Does he even know how to play football? Is he trying to kill someone? Zidane continued to single out Pepe, his intentions clear. This was definitely premeditated. Fortunately, Matheus and others arrived quickly and pulled Pepe back. Finally, the referee issued Pepe a yellow card. Deng Kai complained that Zidane had also made a move. The referee also warned Zidane. In the 78th minute, Sporting Lisbon launched a super counter-attack. But Sanchez anticipated the move perfectly this time, rushing out early and surprisingly kicking the ball wide from outside the penalty area. Then, Ibrahimovic, unable to stop, collided with Sanchez. The latter fell to the ground. Real Madrid's team doctor entered the field and quickly signaled a substitution. Casillas was brought on as a substitute. This reminded the Real Madrid fans of the 1999-2000 season. The young Casillas started in the final, saved a penalty, and helped the team lift the Champions League trophy. Now, Casillas is here. Will the Champions League trophy be far behind? In the 83rd minute, Real Madrid used their last substitution. Guti replaced the exhausted Solari. Deng Kai gestured for Wu Zedong to move to the far right wing and play right back. Pepe became left back, with Vidic and Barzagli forming the central defensive partnership. The camera focused on Carlos. This adjustment was clearly aimed at Carlos, meaning Wu Zedong should target him. This was disrespectful to the renowned fullback. In the 89th minute, Deng Kai's adjustment paid off. Trigura. Maxa. 666. Carlos received a yellow card for trying to stop Wu Zedong. Ultimately, neither side created any further danger in regulation time. The match went into extra time. In the 101st minute, the referee blew his whistle, and a huge roar erupted from the stadium. Sporting Lisbon fans cheered wildly. Real Madrid fans gave the loudest boos of the match. Ibrahimovic challenged Hilgura in front of the penalty area, displaying dazzling footwork in a giant version of Ronaldinho, leaving Hilgura completely bewildered. Ibrahimovic then delivered a lobbed pass, giving Ronaldo a clear chance. But Yera's foul brought Ronaldo down. The referee promptly awarded a penalty and a yellow card. Ronaldo won a crucial penalty for Sporting Lisbon. Chapter 521. Today Guti's wearing jersey number 5. Impact. That's what Real Madrid's attack lacks most. And that's Sporting Lisbon's greatest strength. Any of their midfielders or forwards has the ability to directly attack the opponent's defense. Who'll take this penalty? Ronaldo? He's missed 3 of his last 5 penalties. Clearly, he hasn't practiced penalties. That's the only missing piece in his shooting. Oh. Deng Kai steps up. He walks to the penalty spot. Ronaldo hands the ball to Deng Kai and gives him a hug. Let's look at Deng Kai's penalty stats. Wow. That's incredible. Deng Kai's penalty conversion rate is a whopping 95%. His penalties are terrifying. He treats them like goals. If he scores this penalty, Deng Kai will have completed a hat-trick. The Champions League final. Against Real Madrid. A hat-trick in either case is priceless. When both are combined. Deng Kai, can he do it? He can. He definitely can. Deng Kai never disappoints Sporting Lisbon fans. Real Madrid is finished. Now they can only pray that Casillas can replicate the miracle from 2 years ago. Bang! Clang! Silence fell. Then, Real Madrid fans erupted in heart-wrenching cheers. Oh my god. Missed. Deng Kai missed his penalty. The ball hit the crossbar and bounced away. Deng Kai was too focused on the angle, he wanted to hide an absolute corner. It wasn't necessary. Deng Kai was too eager to score. It actually affected his performance. I believe that if it happened 100 times, Deng Kai might score 99 times, but this was the only time he missed. At this point, Hiwei couldn't help but show his chicken feet. And this is precisely the one time we absolutely cannot afford to miss. Deng Kai may be the king of Alvalade, but sorry, this is Bernabeu. Oh, this is Hampton Park. Real Madrid's morale is high. Conversely, Sporting Lisbon is completely demoralized. Deng Kai's missed penalty has dealt a huge blow to the team. This is an ominous sign. Watching Casillas and his teammates celebrate wildly, the Sporting Lisbon players felt their hearts sink. Runners-up? Of course, this is already an excellent result for the young players. Historically, almost no top players have lifted the Champions League trophy in their youth, in their first Champions League appearance, and in their first Champions League final. This is perhaps a necessary experience for young players. But, they were so close. The Sporting Lisbon players numbly walked back to their own half, many with tears in their eyes. If even Kai couldn't do it, then who could? In the stands, a family of 4 was also watching the game, but they weren't wearing Sporting Lisbon or Real Madrid jerseys. Instead, they were wearing Brescia's number 10 jerseys from Serie A. This is the jersey of Roberto Baggio, the famous Italian football star. This season, the 35-year-old Baggio has been plagued by injuries, making very few appearances and having a minimal presence. Dad, why are they so sad? Even the 8-year-old son of this family noticed the poor performance of the Sporting Lisbon players. The boy's sister and mother were taken aback. The mother even instinctively wanted to cover her son's mouth. The word penalty was taboo in their family. The boy's father smiled, but the smile was somewhat heavy. He wore sunglasses, a mask, and a hat, obscuring his face and the braid at the back of his head. In a team, some people can fail, but some people cannot, the father explained. The little boy nodded. So in the last game, Ronaldo cried. He lost, but he can lose. In this game, Deng Kai lost, but he can lose? The father nodded. Similarly, in a person's life, you have many opportunities to fail, but there are some opportunities you must succeed at. Once you miss them, it's a lifelong regret. And penalties are the most regrettable of these regrets. Next to the family, a fan pointed at the father's back and said, "That man's back looks like Roberto Baggio." The fan next to him shook his head. "Not Baggio, he's a bit chubby." Soon, the first half of extra time ended. 15 minutes later, the second half of extra time also ended. There was 1 minute of added time. But in that 1 minute, the veteran Zidane, after disappearing for more than 10 minutes, suddenly made a forward run and broke into the penalty area. Guti, the Golden Wolf, delivered what was probably the most thrilling and brilliant through ball of the game. The ball passed by 5 Sporting Lisbon players and successfully entered the penalty area. Schmeichel rushed out. He lunged forward desperately, trying to reach the ball first. But Zidane lightly touched the ball with his toe, executing a Marseille's turn that crossed paths with Schmeichel. Time stood still. Schmeichel seemed to have entered bullet time. Once Zidane got past him, it would be an open goal. Schmeichel had never been so clear-headed. His right hand suddenly exerted force, grabbing Zidane's foot. Whistle. The referee blew his whistle and pointed to the penalty spot. At the same time, he showed Schmeichel a yellow card. Vidic, Barzagli, Pepe, and others immediately surrounded the referee. But Schmeichel lowered his head and walked to the sidelines. He knew his Champions League final was over. Even, his career should be over, right? Schmeichel knew this would become a famous scene in his career. The backdrop after Zidane's divine intervention. This treatment was actually not bad. After all, it was Zidane. Boom. Real Madrid fans were completely ecstatic. The last minute of stoppage time. Penalty. Zidane is invincible. This is Zidane. God is wearing Real Madrid's number 5 jersey today. Zidane won the penalty. Without a doubt, he will take it himself. But the question is, who will Sporting Lisbon use as their goalkeeper? Sporting Lisbon has already used all 3 substitutions. They can't bring on a backup goalkeeper. And Sporting Lisbon's third-choice goalkeeper hasn't played much for 2 seasons, let's not even talk about his level. Looking back now, Jardel's kick that injured Reina was truly a crime. If Reina were here, Trigueros would definitely have saved a substitution. Ibrahimovic or Vidic? They are Sporting Lisbon's tallest players, but as a goalkeeper, height alone isn't enough, you have to be quick. Ibrahimovic might be more suitable than Vidic. But strikers are never as good at battling the ball as defenders. I'm afraid Ibrahimovic might dodge it. Or Pepe? He has the ferocity of a defender and is very agile. He might be the most suitable player for this team. Duncan? What is Duncan doing? Chapter 522 That Rainbow. Deng Kai caught up with Schmeichel, and he got Schmeichel's gloves. Deng Kai wants to be the goalkeeper. It really is Deng Kai. My god. Is Deng Kai crazy? He's only 1.78 meters tall. There have been goalkeepers under 1.8 meters tall in history, but they are too few. And most importantly, Deng Kai has never received professional goalkeeper training. Maybe Pepe should take over? On the field. Schmeichel, walking to the sidelines, almost popped his eyes out. Are you sure? Kai? Deng Kai nodded, very firmly. It can only be me. Schmeichel handed the gloves to Deng Kai. At the same time, Maxa on the sidelines asked, Font, when you guys practice together, does the loser become the goalkeeper? Font nodded. See? I told you Kai had practiced, no problem. Maxa laughed, then continued to ask Font while talking to Trigueros, since Kai stepped up, it means he's usually the best at saving the ball, right? Font was embarrassed. Well, usually I save the ball the most, then Pepe, then, second to last is Ronaldo, and Kai has never saved the ball. No, it's Ronaldo who's a bit afraid of the ball, he avoids it. And Kai, he doesn't want to crush our shooting confidence, so. Maxa was speechless. It wasn't just the stadium. The commentators on all the major broadcasting platforms were in complete uproar. Deng Kai going to save a penalty? Does Sporting Lisbon have no one else? Although Deng Kai isn't short for a midfielder now, he's a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers under 1.85 meters are all yodel. This is outrageous. Deng Kai is clearly out of control. Deng Kai missed the penalty. Is he trying to redeem himself now? His feelings are understandable, but this behavior is definitely wrong. Sporting Lisbon didn't even step in to stop Deng Kai? That's outrageous. This team is finished. Is this Deng Kai's personal fiefdom? Maxa and Trigueros are two charlatans. They didn't make any adjustments or instructions, letting Deng Kai do whatever he wanted. Deng Kai reached the goal, his eyes meeting Zidane's. Zidane's eyes were filled with surprise and confusion. But only for a moment, and Zidane entered his own mode. Click. No one could hear it. But a voice echoed in Deng Kai's mind. The Sek who doesn't want to be a tank soldier time card activated. Sek, protect me. In this life, I will never let you get hurt. Deng Kai murmured, his feet planted firmly on the goal line, motionless. He crouched slightly, like a hunter deep in the mountains. Zidane, who should have held the initiative, became his prey. Zidane disliked this feeling intensely. Deng Kai's gaze and actions were too aggressive. This ignited Zidane's inner resistance. He refused to become the player in charge. The initiative should always be in his hands. Because he is Zidane. The referee blew his whistle. Zidane began his run-up. His speed was considerable. Bang! Zidane kicked the ball. Everyone forgot to breathe at that moment. The ball flew out. Some guessed left, others right. Deng Kai's mental experience, reminiscent of Sek's, frantically assessed the situation. Sek's brain concluded left. But Deng Kai suppressed this impulse from his professional perspective. He trusted his own answer. Even if the other answer came from Sek. Of course, Deng Kai rejected Sek's judgment, but still possessed Sek's ability to make a save. He slightly raised his eyes. The ball went up. Baggio in the stands seemed struck by lightning. This was a shot from the sky. It was a rainbow. It was a Panenka penalty. Zidane, wait. Deng Kai. Zidane's expression froze the moment he kicked the ball. Deng Kai's feet seemed rooted to the spot, completely still. The ball floated lightly into Deng Kai's arms. Deng Kai saved Zidane's penalty. You could say he was stunned. Or you could say he saw right through Zidane. And Zidane himself leaned towards the latter. The cheers of the Real Madrid fans abruptly ceased. At that moment, all the Real Madrid fans felt as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. A chill ran down their spines. But this wasn't the end. Deng Kai, holding the ball, ran past a stunned Zidane, placed it in his right hand, leaned to his right rear, and shouted, "Counter-attack! Counter-attack!" The next moment, Sporting Lisbon launched a full-scale attack. All the players frantically ran towards Real Madrid's half, ready to receive Deng Kai's throw-ins or long kicks. Except for Zidane, who was still recovering, all the Real Madrid players turned and sprinted back to their own half. Defense! Defense! Yera frantically shouted to his teammates. A race against death had begun. "Where's the ball? Wait, who's that?" Raul saw a dark figure run past him. It was a Sporting Lisbon jersey. "That's Deng Kai." He didn't kick the ball away. He dribbled the ball out of the penalty area. Raul even looked back at the Sporting Lisbon goal to confirm, otherwise he couldn't believe it. And there, Deng Kai was indeed not there. Deng Kai had abandoned his goal. Considering Zidane's absence, Sporting Lisbon, playing with 10 men, actually had one more player. Danger! Danger! Bang! Deng Kai passed a ball to Matheus as McManaman rushed over. Matheus passed it across to Pepe. Pepe passed it to Ronaldo, who was almost tripped by Yera and ended up in midfield. Ronaldo passed it back to Deng Kai and started his forward run. Deng Kai passed it to Kaká, who had dropped back to receive the pass. Kaká passed back to Matheus. Matheus played a through ball to Deng Kai on the left flank. Bang! Deng Kai scooped the ball from behind him to the front and chipped it with the outside of his foot. A series of passes, dazzling the eye. The commentator's pace couldn't keep up with the speed of the ball's movement. Because all these passes were one-touch passes. No one took an extra touch. At this moment, among all the football commentators in the world, only Wang Jiangxian could barely keep up. He knew every player at Sporting Lisbon intimately. 1 minute on stage requires 10 years of practice off stage. At the same time, Zidane, finally realizing what was happening, frantically pointed to his wrist, indicating that the game should have ended long ago. Del Bosque immediately complained to the fourth referee, requesting 1 minute of added time. But it was already the 123rd minute. The fourth referee signaled to Del Bosque not to get agitated, explaining that it was normal for the referee to extend the added time due to issues such as the goalkeeper substitution. Moreover, it seemed that the referee intended to stop the game once this attacking opportunity was disrupted. Sporting Lisbon had already passed the ball 9 times in a row. They couldn't keep pushing forward with one-touch passing forever. As soon as the ball stops, the referee will definitely. Chapter 523 We are invincible. But the question is, will the ball stop? Bang! Ronaldinho passes to Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic plays a through ball. The ball rolls into the penalty area. Kaká. Kaká, shoot. Kaká, shoot. Bang! Inside the penalty area, facing Casillas, Kaká passes the ball across without stopping. Casillas is knocked down. Carlos tries to intercept, but Kaká's pass also has a vertical movement, allowing the ball to successfully pass over Carlos. However, judging from the trajectory of the ball, it will slide out of the far corner. This is not a shot. Bang! A dark figure bursts into the frame, sliding in with a sliding tackle, rolling into Real Madrid's goal with the ball. The camera didn't even have time to capture his jersey number. But the next moment, this person rushes out of the goal. This person's shoe is stuck in the net. But that doesn't matter. He simply abandons his shoe, running barefoot towards the corner flag. As he runs, he takes off his jersey and throws it into the stands. Coincidentally, the jersey flies towards Baggio's direction. His child excitedly held up the jersey. "Dad, I got it. Kai's jersey. I got it." Undoubtedly, after the match, Deng Kai gained a die-hard fan. Yes, Deng Kai. Deng Kai rushed to the corner flag, grabbed a reporter's camera, and roared into the microphone, "Sporting Lisbon. Invincible. This is my Sporting Lisbon career. This is our memory at Sporting Lisbon. Sporting Lisbon miracle. Invincible. We. Invincible." The next moment, Deng Kai was engulfed by his teammates. The stadium erupted in deafening cheers. Hampton Park experienced an earthquake. The Sporting Lisbon fans went absolutely wild. A last-minute winner. Sporting Lisbon snatches a victory over Real Madrid. Insane. Unbelievable. 11 one-touch passes throughout the entire attack. Any misplaced pass would have ended the attack. But Sporting Lisbon withstood the pressure. They did it. They defeated Real Madrid. Zidane was too careless. His Panenka penalty was caught by Duncan. I swear, this is the most spectacular save I've ever seen in my life. Duncan's feint fooled everyone. He pretended to kick long, then dribbled out of the penalty area. He was reckless. He left Real Madrid with an open goal. But the reckless Duncan ultimately killed Real Madrid. A hat-trick. Duncan completed his hat-trick. What's his is his. If you miss a penalty, save one, and then score. That's Duncan's answer to the world. That's his redemption. He did it. Before leaving Sporting Lisbon, he led the team to a Champions League title. God? Duncan isn't just a footballing Caesar. He's a footballing god. Today, God is wearing Sporting Lisbon's number 10 jersey. Oh. Yara got a red card. Zidane got a red card too. They're arguing with the referee. They're complaining furiously. Because after signaling the goal was valid, the referee blew his whistle 3 times to end the game. He didn't give Real Madrid any time. Of course, Real Madrid's players weren't upset about a whistle at that moment, but about Deng Kai's goal. They think the game should have been stopped much earlier, because a lot of time had passed. If the referee had blew the whistle earlier, Deng Kai wouldn't have scored. Bosk also got a red card. Sporting Lisbon's players went to protect the referee. Real Madrid's players were very upset. They had already touched the championship trophy. Both teams entered the field en masse. Sporting Lisbon's personnel were more composed. They were maintaining order. Real Madrid's players were finally calmed down. Casillas covered his face and cried. He had done enough. He even let Deng Kai's penalty kick go wide. But he was still a loser, because he was only the second best goalkeeper in this game. The best goalkeeper was Deng Kai. The footage shows a celebration of black and green, and also a white funeral. Sporting Lisbon, for them, is truly celebrating. A blonde boy rushes onto the pitch, but Schmeichel gestures for everyone to calm down. It's his son, Kasper Schmeichel, a Manchester City Youth Academy player. Font also carries Bruno Fernandes down from the stands so he can share in the championship atmosphere. Reporters swarm in, interviewing everyone they can. Figo is the first to be surrounded. Reporter, Figo, it's a pity you didn't win the trophy. Figo replies helplessly, yes, Sporting Lisbon created a miracle. They played very well, while our second half wasn't good enough. Reporter, will the Portuguese national team call up players from this team? Especially Duncan and Ronaldo? Figo, that's not up to me. Of course, I hope to get more help, both at the club and national team level. Figo quickly leaves. Zidane is then surrounded, his situation even worse than Figo's. Reporter, why did you take that Panenka penalty? Were you careless? Zidane, nothing to say, he won, congratulations to him. Reporter, your arrival didn't bring Real Madrid a Champions League title. Do you think you're worth 78 million euros? Zidane, you shouldn't ask me that question. Sporting Lisbon played a fantastic game, especially the final counter-attack. They showed a very high level of skill and teamwork. And that's exactly what this current Real Madrid team lacks. We will return to the top of Europe. Reporter, how would you rate Deng Kai's performance in this game? Zidane, rate? I scored 1 goal, while Deng Kai scored 3, so what do you want me to rate? I'm not qualified to rate him, at least not on this game alone. Of course, I suggest that all media outlets include Deng Kai's name when commenting on the world's top midfielders in the future. If it weren't for saving face, I would even say I see my own reflection in him. But unfortunately, the 17-year-old me is far inferior to the 17-year-old him. Zidane maintained his composure and turned to walk into the players' tunnel. The celebrations belong to Sporting Lisbon. Real Madrid shouldn't be here, they should be under the car. Winning solves everything. Losing destroys all unity. Journalists interviewed Real Madrid stars and then got a major takeaway from Captain Yara. Yara, of course, I welcome all the superstars, Figo, Zidane, they make our attack unstoppable. But defensively, we haven't had any better help. Chapter 524. A photo of the century. Real Madrid signings can't be limited to the midfield and attack. Real Madrid also needs strong defensive specialists. I've raised this issue with Florentino, but it doesn't seem to have been taken seriously, and now we're finally reaping the consequences. We have excellent successors. Pavone is certainly very good, but we also need players of Maldini, Ferdinand, Stam, Nesta, Campbell, and Thuram's caliber. Yara's heartfelt words came at the wrong time and in the wrong place. This statement was bound to cause a stir. He probably wanted to say more, but the reporters suddenly surged forward. Because Deng Kai had arrived. The real protagonist had appeared. Yero turned away dejectedly. Reporter, Deng Kai, why did you choose to be the goalkeeper? Did you know from the start that Zidane would take a penalty? Deng Kai, no one can predict the future, and no one can predict Zidane's future. I just took on the responsibility I was supposed to take. If we lost this game, I would be the scapegoat. I couldn't bear to see any of my teammates take that blame, so I had to step up and save that penalty. Reporter, do you know how fluid your last counter-attack was? You guys. Deng Kai interrupted, of course. 11 one-touch passes, perfect teamwork, that's why we got this far. We have so many talented players in this team. When you look back at this lineup, you'll be amazed countless times. But what brought us to the top of Europe wasn't just our talent and ability, but also our hard training, difficult cohesion, mutual compromise, and mutual success. Reporter, you mean Real Madrid's teamwork wasn't good enough? A glint flashed in Deng Kai's eyes as he looked at Yero's retreating figure. At least defensively, Real Madrid is lacking. Their way of piling up attacking stars only reminds people of Inter Milan. So I think Yero is right, Real Madrid should work on their defense. On the sidelines, Messi was also being interviewed. Messi, of course. Sometimes players understand the situation on the field better than the coach, so when Kai went to goal, Trigora and I supported him. We trusted Kai, and he repaid that trust with a Champions League trophy. It's the most beautiful story in the world. In matches of this level, the coach can't do much anymore. The players are the key, the players are everything. When we let go of everything, we win everything. That's my football philosophy. Finally, 15 minutes later, the awards stage was set up. UEFA officials and the presidents of Sporting Lisbon and Real Madrid appeared on stage. Florentino's face darkened. This Champions League title was originally his gift to Real Madrid for their centenary celebration. The result? Real Madrid players took the stage first to receive their Champions League runner-up medals. But not a single player was smiling. They quickly left the field before the awards ceremony officially began. First up was the Champions League Best Young Player Award. 2 years ago, Casillas won this award. This year, Cristiano Ronaldo's name resounded throughout Hampden Park. He had a stunning debut season in the Champions League, scoring a hat-trick against Manchester United in the first leg of the semi-final at Old Trafford, a classic moment. Next was the Champions League Assist King Award. Amidst cheers, Deng Kai walked onto the stage. Ronaldo gave Deng Kai a hug before quickly leaving. After all, Ronaldo only had 2 assists, which wasn't quite appropriate for this occasion. Deng Kai, however, had 10 assists. This was the first time in nearly 10 years that a player had reached double figures in Champions League assists. Meanwhile, the second and third place finishers were also Sporting Lisbon players, Kaká with 3 goals and 7 assists, and Ronaldinho with 3 goals and 6 assists. Real Madrid's midfield and attack are often touted as the most luxurious in the world. But in terms of actual attacking statistics, Sporting Lisbon swept the Champions League this year. And it's not just about assists. Their goal-scoring record remains unmatched. After receiving the assist title, Deng Kai didn't get a chance to step down. The Champions League Golden Boot Award also went to him. 13 goals and 10 assists. Deng Kai has put up incredible numbers this season. A large portion of Ronaldinho and Kaká's assists came from him. Meanwhile, Cristiano Ronaldo is also moving from the fringes to the center stage. Because Ronaldo's goal tally is also 13. Oh. Congratulations to Deng Kai. Congratulations to Ronaldo. Truly the twin stars of Sporting Lisbon. This is the second time Deng Kai and Ronaldo have simultaneously lifted the Golden Boot trophy. They've replicated their performance from last season's UEFA Cup, where they were also the top scorers. Wang Jiangxiang passionately exclaimed, of course, statistically speaking, Ronaldo is more like an extreme killer. An extreme goal scorer. He always has the strongest competitiveness when it comes to scoring goals. And Deng Kai, he's God. Goals, assists, playmaking, penalty saves, he can do it all. He rolled his eyes at Wang Jiangxiang. Penalties? Is he really that good? Finally, after Ronaldo stepped down for the second time, Deng Kai remained on the podium. Because this time, he won the Champions League Best Player Award. This was undisputed. In fact, if there weren't explicit rules prohibiting the Best Player and Best Newcomer awards from overlapping, Ronaldo's Best Newcomer award would have gone to Deng Kai as well. A hat-trick in the Champions League final, This is a spectacle never before seen. Deng Kai accomplished something no football superstar had ever done. Even if he only played this one match, he could have been named the Champions League Player of the Year. Finally, amidst thunderous applause, the remaining Sporting Lisbon players took to the stage to receive their Champions League medals. Deng Kai and Cristiano Ronaldo stood on either side, flanked by Kaká, Ronaldinho, Matos, Drogba, Ibrahimovic, Guardiola, Wu Zedong, and other players. 1, 2, 3. We are the champions. A classic photo of the century was taken, and unsurprisingly, at least 5 Ballon d'Or winners were on that list. In the 2001-2002 season, a whirlwind known as the Sporting Lisbon Miracle swept across Europe, making them the first true treble winners of the 21st century. After the match, the official Champions League's eye was released. Coaches, Trigora and Maxier, forwards, Cristiano Ronaldo, Sporting Lisbon, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Manchester United, Quaresma, Barcelona, midfielders, Ronaldinho, Sporting Lisbon, Duncan, Sporting Lisbon, Zidane, Real Madrid, Beckham, Manchester United, defenders, Roberto Carlos, Real Madrid, Barzagli, Sporting Lisbon, Lizarazu, Bayern Munich, goalkeeper, Canizares, Valencia. Chapter 525 bombarding Brazil's and France's lists. Sporting Lisbon has 4 players selected. Of course, there are many omissions outside this Champions League best eye list. Sporting Lisbon's Kaká, Drogba, and Vidic, Bayer Leverkusen's Roberto and Ballack, Barcelona's Rivaldo, Manchester United's Giggs, Keane, and Scholes, Arsenal's Vieira and Henry, Juventus Nedved, Trezeguet, and Thuram, and Inter Milan's Ronaldo, Vieri, and Viana. But there are only so many positions. Ultimately, only a few can achieve their goal. Kicker, Leverkusen's loss was justified. Sporting Lisbon is an opponent even Real Madrid can't beat. Build, Sporting Lisbon started the season with Bayern's corpse and ended it with Real Madrid's corpse. The Times, 8 titles in 2 years. Youth reigns supreme. Who can stop this Sporting Lisbon team? Sky Sports, Cristiano Ronaldo, Golden Boot, and more Golden Boot. Duncan, the best, forever the best. La Gazzetta dello Sport, a true gout has been born. A hat-trick in the final forged a legendary Champions League match. Duncan's rise is inevitable. Corriere dello Sport, La Liga plus Champions League, Duncan 33 plus 30, Ronaldo 45 plus 6, Ronaldinho 19 plus 15, Kaká 15 plus 22. France Football, Yaroblast Florentino, accusing Real Madrid of becoming the next Inter Milan. Mundo Deportivo, Moratti angrily denounces Real Madrid as unworthy to be compared to Inter. Inter has a league title, while Real Madrid only has the Copa del Rey this season. Now, it's time to consider Real Madrid's summer signings. Ferdinand, is there hope? Nesta, is it possible? Marca, Merrington rejects all midfield and attacking superstars this summer, unless it's Duncan and Ronaldo. A complete upheaval. Sporting Lisbon's title win has thrown European football into chaos. This is a storm that extends far beyond the pitch. Before the season ended, every team had a draft list of potential signings. This list was relatively scientific. But, with Sporting Lisbon's incredible performance, any team hoping to gain fan support had to change its signing list to include Sporting Lisbon players. And they had to work frantically to secure those names. And these efforts were often not very scientific. But if you didn't do this, the fans would absolutely not buy it. This is typical chaos. Don't even mention absolute core players like Duncan, Ronaldo, and Ronaldinho. Even fringe players like Font, Evra, and Veloso have many teams lining up to buy them. This fervor continued until the national teams announced their 23-man squads for the World Cup, finally subsiding. Some of these squads were widely expected, while others were disappointing. Marino was the first to criticize Brazil's squad. The Brazilian coaching staff is a pile of crap. Deco is one of the best midfielders in Europe this year. Apart from Duncan, there's no one more outstanding than him this year. He won the UEFA Cup. Yet he doesn't deserve to be in Brazil's squad. Ronaldinho and Kaká are definitely not better than Deco. Without Duncan, Sporting Lisbon won't beat Porto this year. I'm telling you. Yes, Ronaldinho and Kaká were selected. The Brazilian duo were lucky, but Macon wasn't so fortunate. He was naturally left out, as he was an important rotation player for Sporting Lisbon, not a regular starter. Even within the same popular team, there's a huge difference in popularity. Macon spring is still some time away. But Kaká and Ronaldinho's prime is almost here. Besides them, Brazil's squad also includes Lucio, Carlos, Gilberto Silva, Rivaldo, Ronaldo, Cafu, Dida, Jr., Denson, Ricardinho, and many other players. Each one is a formidable force. Deco's exclusion isn't necessarily unfair. Brazil has too many superstars and talents in midfield and attack. Did Leverkusen's absolute midfield core, Zé Roberto, also miss the cut? Those not selected may be disappointed, but none of those selected deserved it. However, Deco himself expressed his disappointment in an interview. "It's a pity I wasn't selected for the Brazilian national team. If I'm not even qualified for the UEFA Cup, I really don't know what to do. I see no hope. I might seriously consider my future, especially regarding the national team." Deco now regrets not accepting the Portuguese Football Federation's invitation. But he still decided to join the Portuguese national team after the World Cup. Brazil hurt him deeply. Similarly, Deco, also a key player for Porto, was left out, and Moreno stood up for him. However, star striker Jardel was also left out of the squad, and Moreno didn't say a word. This infuriated Jardel. He criticized the Brazilian national team, as well as Porto and the Portuguese league. He officially announced his transfer this summer. He could no longer tolerate the dragging down his team by the garbage league. He wanted to go somewhere where he could truly become a world-class superstar. He wanted to go to the best platform. Similarly, the French squad list was also highly controversial. Lizarazu, Vieira, Djorkaeff, Blanc, Desailly, Thuram, Zidane, Deschamps, Henry, Anelka, Pires, Wiltord, Makalil, Petty, Trezeguet. None of these were problematic. The French team was strong and well-equipped. Deschamps also secured a spot on the bench based on his seniority and the championship he won with Sporting Lisbon. But the inclusion of Barcelona centre-back Christenver was baffling. This player's performance for Barcelona this season has been absolutely disastrous. Barcelona bought him to compete against Duncan's Sporting Lisbon, but he hasn't performed at all. Moreover, his rough technique became a fatal flaw in Barcelona's defense, even more so than his lack of height. Barcelona benched Christenver in many crucial matches during the second half of the season. The French team explained that they needed some backup centre-backs. They already had too many excellent players in attack and midfield. But fans remained unconvinced, especially Sporting Lisbon supporters. They believed Drogba deserved to be selected. They didn't care that Henry and Trezeguet were already the best answer for France's attack. Drogba knew that against a French duo, even if he was selected, he would only be on the bench. And these two were still young. This situation might continue for a long time. Coupled with patriotism, Drogba announced the day after the French team announced their squad that he would play for his home country, Ivory Coast. Although Ivory Coast failed to qualify for this World Cup, Drogba was confident of leading Ivory Coast to the Africa Cup of Nations and the next World Cup. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.